Hello, everyone, and welcome over to Kings of the Hollow week number 5 in season 2. I'm Andalin. I'm the founder and owner of Resurgent. I'm going to be casting today and trying to do a couple things at the same time, and we're also going to be talking with Cokes today through the games and just kind of bringing you all the action here from Kings of the Hollow. So, hope you guys are excited as we are. Cokes, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing great. I'm excited to see some awesome games.
That's right. So you can see Cokes is rocking a sweet picture of the Lich King. Um, so PogChamp's in the chat for the Lich King, right? Yep. Cokes, you play Death Knight?
Uh, Sadly, no. But I like him. He's a cool dude.
Nice, nice, nice. All right, cool. So Cokes, now you guys you used to be part of the Kings of the Hollow a lot, and so remind us what team you guys played for.
I played for the Four Kyle team,
Hmm.
and we weren't like we. It was really fun because it was just like an open thing. Anybody can join. So teammates that I was playing with on ladder were like, "Hey, let's come play this in this tournament. It's super easy to get into. So if there's anybody out there that wants to get into it, it's super easy. Just to sign up and play." And we played a bunch. We brought RMP. It's really strong into most comps, so had a blast. Really fun to play in these.
Yeah, we now for those of us who are like we're used to watching Kings of the Hollow, we definitely remember that for Kyle definitely brought a huge amount of pressure. You guys made some waves in the scene here, needless to say. So that was a lot of fun, and that was actually not too long ago. So with that, we are looking at having some really neat games. We've got some new teams tonight, and we've got some interesting mixes and jumbling of players. So just as a quick recap, if you don't know, Kings of the Hollow is something that we put on every week. We are in week number 5 of our second season doing it. We allow you to bring your 3v3 team into the arena, or if you would like, you can also solo queue, right? You can hashtag solo queue um, and join on your own, where we will pair you up with a team in something that kind of makes sense. So, that being said, it's a really great opportunity to meet your future arena partners, have fun for the night, give you something to do, and maybe it's something that you just want to come in and watch. There's a lot of people that enjoy doing that too. So, shout out to all you guys who have always been here, supported us, and for all you guys who are new here, we'd love to have you supporting us in the future. So, thanks again, and hopefully we'll uh, we'll have some good games tonight. I'm looking forward to it. So, Cokes, with uh, with the current state of WoW PvP and what's been going on, everyone's talking about Resto Druids and some of the recent nerfs that kind of came with that. So, I was wondering maybe if you had some thoughts, because a lot of people thought we'd see a little bit different, um, not maybe so much of a dampener type of road people would take, especially in the EU. But yet the changes really didn't make a huge difference. So I didn't know if you had maybe any thoughts or comments on the state of Resto Druids.
Well, actually, I do because I play RMD right now on ladder, and it. We thought it was going to impact like Resto Druids, but Resto Druids had such good healing output to begin with that it didn't actually matter if they oomed because they're like one of the best classes that can actually go get a drink, right? So like an Art Druid can still go get a drink pretty easily if he's a 9 elf. If he's not a 9 elf, he has a little more struggles. So like getting drinks aren't like a big deal, and they still have great healing. So like they got affected, but it was almost like they hit every healer in a way because they hit priest 45% mana, and everybody else was 50%, right? So monks now, which is I'm not a huge monk fan, so I like that they and our shamans got hit a little too hard, but they as well. Like all the healers are ooming. It's less of a dampening meta, which is nice. But our druids are still really strong. If you bring a comp that can like allow the Arduid to last late game, then you're still gonna have a very solid time at like dampifying the enemy team.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
it's
Now, I mean,
yeah.
and you guys kind of started to begin the ushering in of a recent age that we've seen, which was the age of the mist eaters, right? Where monks are lately have just been getting ate for breakfast here in the Kings of the Hollow. So I think someone coming out and bringing a Mistweaver and having a solid performance is definitely going to be making a huge statement. So shout out to you guys if you can come out and flex some monk here. But our first game we'll be going into is going to be Team Doyle Snipe versus the Super Tadpoles, which I'm liking the team names so far. Doyle Snipe and Super Tadpoles.
Like tadpoles. That's cool.
I,
That's
I don't,
super cool.
is
They're
that? I
super
think that's
Deadpools too.
a play on Super Frogs, right?
I
But
think so. Yeah.
yeah, all right. Sorry, I'm sitting here. Super Tadpoles. So for any of you guys here who are kind of watching and enjoying what we got going on, I'm also running our camera here, so you'll have to excuse me as I get us set up here. So we're gonna go ahead and get swapped over into these games now, so you don't have to stare at it. All right. So let's see. Here it is. Here's our Mistweaver coming out. Mr. Cheatbreaker is definitely going to be looking to make a statement here, kind of following into what we talked about just before this here, Cokes, huh?
Yeah, it looks like they're playing a really like almost setup-y comp, the Mistweaver Windwalker Shadow. They're gonna look for like really setup type goes and win off of that.
Absolutely. So we see the gates just opening up here. Warlock beginning to kind of get his portal, set that mobility up for the future. It's definitely going to come in handy, as I'm sure that the uptime on this Windwalker is going to be a big make it or break it here for Mr. Doyle Snipes here.
It's like they're kind of just waiting it out, see who kind of starts the initiative here. It's they can both pretty much the enemy healer, so they want to be careful not to like overextend their lead. They do get a quick opener.
Yeah, so we see the Shadow Priest kind of pushing in for a quick poke, and Warlock working on trying to get a little bit of that spread dot pressure beginning here. And we see the Windwalker, my name is Kyle, kind of going for that quick aggro opener here as he kind of starts to do a little bit of pressure onto late dog. With Chaos Bolts coming in from Zelda onto Zelda here. It looks like the positioning here is a little interesting, as both teams don't really seem to have an idea of what exactly they're going to go. They're just kind of hoping something happens and then they can capitalize from there.
Definitely. Looks like they got the Silence My Bomb on high rise. He doesn't have to trinket. They don't have that much pressure on late dog right now. Double leg sweep on both the healer and late dog. This could be touch of death. It is. Dog might be in a little bit of trouble. He might want to trade out his astral shift. He's opting. There he goes. He trades out his astral shift. There's the images. There's going to be a lot of pressure out of this astral shift into the images. Fear on My Name is Kyle. Fear on Zelda. Looks like the Lock's trying to peel off this team's pressure on his Ellie Shaman right now.
It looks like they are going to be sticking onto the Shadow Priest, and these Chaos Bolts just seem to be going into Zelda. I wonder if at any point in time they might be making, but we see the first Maladex and the Chaos Bolts coming into Zelda, which is going to easily get that dispersion. Probably a good trade there, as Cheatbreaker, his Mistweaver Monk, is just being put into that full Cyclone, not having to use that trinket, but now he's just getting out to be able to top his Shadow Priest here. But I think if we could see maybe a half clone or a little bit more pressure come out in the way of CC, we might be able to see a little bit more fear on the side of Super Tadpoles here that the Doyle Snipes would, I'm sure, love to be able to take advantage of here in this first game of round one.
Definitely. I'm a little bit worried about this LSD right now. They have a very low mana compared to the Mistweaver. Ooh, triple leg sweep coming out on the entire team. That's really scary. It looks like they're going to
swap onto high rise here. And he just barely gets into bear form at the very end of the Earth Shield, but they still managed to take him down. Wow, what a strong finish there. And we just see how, Resto Druids, they're definitely going to be very, very feasible swap targets that these teams are going to have to take advantage of and make sure that they're not in vulnerable positions. And so, a lot of Resto Druids we'll see are going to play that idealized max ranger healer, so that you can stay out of the fray, because as we saw there, High Rise wasn't really able to get into bear form until it was too late. I mean, he's at 5% of his 10% of his health bar just getting into bear form, so that bear form's really not doing a whole lot for him.
Yeah, it was a little bit unfortunate too to see that he was not able to trade out his bark or his skin. That would have really helped him there on the go. Maybe could have helped his save his life, but who knows? That was a lot of damage coming out of the Windwalker Mistweaver Shadow.
Absolutely. Yeah, and it also kind of really heightens the importance of his trinket to where, if you lose that trinket as the Resto Druid there, now all of a sudden your positioning, the how much you're punished from your positioning is amplified. So, if you're going to get caught somewhere where you're in the LOS of all three of the enemy team's spells and nasty, spooky spells, all of a sudden that's going to get really scary, and your DPS are going to have to go full panic mode on figuring out, all right, I got to off heal, I got to give them the Earth Shield. They managed to get an Earth Shield there, but it wasn't enough.
Yeah, that's a really scary moment to be that pushed up on a hard druid with no trinket like sweep.
Yeah.
That's,
So we'll
that's
see.
scary.
We'll see what they opt to do here. Is they do opt for Tolvaron as the next map here. Maybe looking to see if we can get High Rise, the Resto Druid, working on max ranging, healing, or maybe they're going to try to stay on that aggressive go. But I can't help but think with a Tolvaron pick, we're looking for a little bit of a different gameplay here.
Yeah, and I would like to add maybe out of high rise, maybe a Moonkin Affinity, maybe stay max range, like really far back type of thing. And I really think that if they can get these like bolts and the constant pressure from the Ellie, and because the Mistweaver Windwalker Shadow was like really like kind of hanging out on their pillar a lot. They weren't pushing too much, so if they can maybe stay back and try to like play the mana bar of the Mistweaver, it could go in their favor.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And now just as we mentioned that the swaps onto the Resto Droid could be incredibly powerful, swaps onto these Mistweavers also in the same vein could be a really strong, advantageous move for Doyle Snipes. So depending on, the positioning of both of these teams, I'm sure we could expect to see any type of outcome here, even though that the Super Tadpoles were able to take this first game, anything can happen. So with that, we'll be swapping back over into our spectator game as we are now looking at same comps coming out here from Doyle Snipes and from the Super Tadpoles.
This is a really big map too. Torbjorn Arena does favor the LSD a little bit here because of just the amount of space they have to run around and kind of kite the Windwalker from like hitting their like players. So they might have a small like advantage here when it comes to running from this team, this Windwalker and the Shadow Priest.
Absolutely. Now we see the Warlock taking a very strong statement here by placing his gate all the way over here, saying, we're going to force you to play out in the open because otherwise you're not going to hit us. And I think that's a great move, especially to be able to take advantage of, the worst thing that we can be doing is lining the Chaos Bolts in their regard. So to be able to know that unless that Chaos Bolt is kicked, you're going to land it really gives you a lot of confidence going into this matchup.
These pillars are huge, and they don't have much other than the off global route that they can do as a warlock. So it gives them a little bit of leeway to get their bolts off. So it looks like they're gonna go ahead and start bolting the priest right here. He's got 2 bolts on Zelda, but it looks like he's just healing right through it. There's a Fearow under the Windwalker. It looks like they're gonna turn their aggression over to this Elemental Shaman, this Windwalker Shadow Priest.
So we see a nice hex onto My Name is Kyle to kind of stop and brunt some of that incoming damage here onto Bugs, the Warlock here for Team Doyle Snipes. But My Name is Kyle looking to get a swap too. Maybe they can force that Touch of Karma, get a nice early cooldown that can begin to open some windows here for Doyle Snipes as they're going to be looking to claim one of these games in the series. Again, these series are only best 2 out of 3, so, Super Tadpole's looking to close out the series already. Kind of going in here, but we see lots of damage forcing that Touch of Karma onto My Name is Kyle with the Lightning Lasso coming out at the very last second here, still sitting at 10% health. They managed to get a quick kill on him. Wow. Team Doyle Snipes definitely deciding that this is not them. They're going to come and they came to play and they're not going to lose like this.
Oh, wow. That was very interesting. He pre-karma the Lightning Lasso and still ended up dying through the karma. That's very, very unfortunate. Wow.
A really good job by that Elemental Shaman to catch him like behind that pillar, forcing, and essentially that is an effective amount of some sort of a crowd control effect to catch a DPS out not in line of sight of his own healer. That's effectively crowd controlling him and the healer as well. So the positioning here with the big pillars, really well played, very intentional positioning, utilizing that map pick to the fullest extent possible. Really glad. I really like what I see out of that.
Yeah, Super Tadpoles had a little bit of a surprise right there from the Destro lock. By the looks of things, he got a very big Chaos Bolt that took his life. That was... oh, man.
Absolutely, yeah. So, kind of going in from there, if you are if you're the Windwalker Shadow Priest, you know, what map are you looking at, Cokes?
They really would like Dal Sewers. I think if they could pick Dal Sewers, that's like their home in a way, just because it's such a small map. It's so easy to get fears, so
Hmm.
the Shadow Priest can like run at them and get easy fears. So maybe Dal Sewers might be their home, hopefully.
Yeah, absolutely. But we see them going with the Runes of Lordaeron, so something very similar, a lot smaller of a map. Definitely going to be forcing that melee, close quarters. Not a whole lot of line of sight here for either team. Um, so I think, you know, if I'm that Warlock Shadow Priest, I want to see them shutting down. Uh, sorry, the Windwalker Shadow Priest. I want to see them shutting down this Destro Warlock, not being able to get these Chaos Bolts for free. It'll do them a lot of good here, and they may even be able to um, to push this into at least into dampening. So we'll
Yeah,
see.
the nice thing about Runes of Lordaeron is there is a druid. Like there's a druid on the enemy team for Super Tadpoles. So if push comes to shove, they can just out dampen them on this map. Because if the Destro does end up pushing up, it's a lot easier for the CC of Super Tadpoles or Tadpoles to get easy CC on the R druid. So I'm wondering if this was like they can out dampen the R druid here as the Mistweaver. This is a favorable map for them.
Very possibly, as we see the last seconds ticking down on the clock here for the Jates just now opening for this final game decider of this first match. Could it be this final fitting resting place for Team Doyle Snipes or the Super Tadpoles? You will have to wait and find out as the gates just open. Chaos Bolt's now coming onto Zelda already here as we see him kind of on the side of the pillar, of the coffin here. That's not going to be in the green zone for him with Cheap Breaker saying, let's not take this damage. I'm not going to get out dampened here.
Yeah, it's definitely that's a very scary. There's a triangle formation coming out of this LSD almost here. It's a very scary moment to push into that. It's hard to hit one target, and the other target's just beating you up while you're hitting the other guy. So I think they're going to hold back until the LSD kind of pushes into them a little bit here, and maybe gets a little too aggressive.
Right, definitely taking advantage of the hybrid aspect of their composition, knowing that they're not really able to get their damage out unless they are in line of sight. So, really good decisions here. Oh, and they look to make. Okay, just I thought they were going to try to make a swap onto high rise there, but maybe that'll be a great option here in the future. As we do see the priest is playing Mind Bomb. Um, I see them focusing on late dog here as they get his astral shift, kind of stopping that incoming damage. But he could now be a better target here moving forward.
This is really scary. This is Infernal Dark Souls. There could be a lot of damage coming out here. I don't think it's going to do much. They're just going to run from it and make the Destro not like what's going on here. But Zelda is still in a lot of trouble here. There's a kick onto Bugs. Blinding Lasso onto Zelda. If any CC lands on Cheatbreaker,
Chaos
this could
Bolt's
be
coming in.
this could be really bad. If Cheatbreaker gets any CC on him, all they need is one little micro CC, and they could maybe capitalize on this. But it looks like the Tadpoles might actually try to turn this around and make it go on to the LSD here.
Yeah, and we see all the pressure and on the side of Doyle Snipes here is I'm really not a huge fan of the Cheat Breakers positioning here as he's not in a good. He's way on the open for all the CC. High-Rise is able to get a nice Ursul's Vortex on him to keep him away from being able to heal up Zelda. But Late Dog now
Yeah.
also taking a lot of damage as we see the Spear Strike landing on him to stop some of his damage that he's trying to pump up onto Zelda as well.
That's very scary. Hi-Rise had to ended up treating the mind bomb there, so he has no trinket. So it could be a very scary go if they end up like committing to this druid again. They could end up killing him with no trinket.
Absolutely, and we'll definitely be seeing him spend a fair amount of time in bear form. I'm assuming here, knowing that the swap onto him could very well be an imminent future go here from the Super Tadpoles, as we see them also just kind of trying to build up some of these resources, and likewise Zelda looking to try to get some VTs on all these targets, create some openings for their team to take advantage of.
Oh, looks like they're gonna make it here. They're going on to the Ellie Shaman here with the full mind bomb. Astral Shift is traded out. Fear onto My Name is Kyle, and this Ellie Shaman is taking a lot of pressure here. There is still a touch of death from this Windwalker, so the next whenever he decides to pull this trigger on this touch of death, it's going to be very, very scary for this LSD.
Yeah, and so so far we definitely see High Rise looking to go down for a drink right here. As I was just about to talk about some mana, but my name is Kyle doing a really good job to stop and not let him take advantage of that position to be able to gain a himself immunity from this win condition that the Super Tadpoles are setting up for. As we see High Rise still looking to go for that. I would like to say cheeky drink, but it's quite obvious here as he's this cat is sitting down here getting some nice big gulps of mana.
Oh, this is really scary. There's a kick on his Zelda, stun onto my name is Kyle. Zelda might have to trade out a cooldown here. Full hex onto Kyle. Cheebreaker might have to. Oh, he got full fear. That's really bad. But then they're also trading their attention over to Laydog here. Laydog is going to take a little bit of pressure. Bash out of the fear onto Cheebreaker. Looks like Zelda's trying to look at maybe High Rise here with the silence. Full sweep on Laydog. Mind Bomb full on High Rise. Laydog could be in a lot of trouble. It looks like there's a TOD on him. Touch of Death is about to pop. Whatever it does, he's going to be really scared. Incap Miner, he's going to go down here. Laydog dies. Oh, that's so unfortunate. That's that touch of death go that I was talking about. Very well chained CC on this LSD. Very well played out of this Windwalker Mistweaver shot.
Absolutely. And I can't help but think, how much of this do you think is maybe some of the counter pressure that they were able to kind of muster from, while High Rise is drinking, they're also doing damage to their team. So, how much of this do you think is a counter attack? Did maybe, High Rise pushing in for that CC, was that maybe a little too much?
I think it's all about positioning when you're playing against Windwalker Shadow Priest. The healer doesn't necessarily matter too much. It looks like they're going to try to play it out a little bit, but
Yeah.
it pretty much wherever you put yourself as a druid, it's very very important to remind yourself that you can always be CC'd at any moment, and there's a purge on the enemy team. So if there's a purge, it's a lot more pressure because he's a shadow priest. He doesn't have too much like big damage numbers, but he does have consistent dot damage, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he can just like get his dot pressure out, under shadow form, and then like your Windwalker is beating up the Ellie Shaman. You throw a bunch of micro CC onto High Rise or as the druid, and you get CC'd out a lot, and it's really scary because you don't have a way to really get out of it because it's mind bomb, so he can't trimmer it. So it's a very really smart pick out of this Shadow Priest to run mind bomb so that there's no trimmer in play. So I really like that pick right there.
Yeah, absolutely. And those types of decisions is what really can, throw the enemy team for at least in this type of, you know, arena right now with these types of players that we're looking at. It can maybe offset or off kilter, the enemy healer to where it's like, hold on, I'm used to dealing with mind bomb this way, or I'm used to dealing with fears with my tremor. Why is this not working? To say, oh right, because it's, and so it's small course corrections that you're forcing the other enemy team to make during the match that really start to show. I'm gonna say this, that really start to show the preparation. Now granted, I'm sure these teams aren't preparing for these compositions and matchups, but just by participating in this, it's versing them well more into all sorts of different types of trades that they could be making in the future, and well versing them for anything they could see on ladder as well. So once again, this is our Kings of the Hollow put on by Resurgent Esports Broadcasting. We do this every Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, and it is available to everyone to participate. So you can bring your arena team, the three of you, to participate. You can also join us in our Discord channel around 7 o'clock. We will more than happily pair you up with a team where you can hashtag solo queue and get you a great chance at competing and having a great time to play and meet all sorts of people who are looking to have some fun in the arena. So with that, we're looking at going into our next game here for Team Monkey Brains versus the Unknowns. Monkey Brains.
Monkey brains. Okay. I wonder if are they playing a turbo? I'm kidding. Are they playing a cleave maybe? Is there
I
a
don't know.
cleave behind the name?
I'd like to see Team Monkey Brains as double mage with
Druid.
with polymorph monkey.
Polymorph monkey. I like
Double
that.
polymorph monkey.
It's good.
Monkey Brains and Unknowns. So I'm gonna go ahead and get our team set up here so we know what we're looking at. Unknowns. Monkey Brains. So, Cokes, going into this, do you know any of these players, or do you have any initial predictions based off of comp? What we're looking at here?
So I'm liking the comp choice right here because I've actually played this. I played this to a decentish rating last season. Arcane Survival, yeah, Survival looks like Survival. So Arcane Survival is a really like fun setup-y comp, and the damage is just it comes out of nowhere, and you're just like, how did I die? So I'm really excited to see this Arcane Survival play this game.
I believe we have the names mixed up here. So we have unknowns actually at the top left with Monkey Brains on the right. But we immediately we see LFG Buddy being opened up to with a Lightning Lasso as a quick trade of that Cocoon here as he's looking to try and get some pressure onto Lava Lash.
Oh wow, this is really scary. It looks like the AP is straight out of the Arcane Mage. Didn't get too much pressure on it, but it looks like this Mistweaver is in a lot of trouble here. He ends up getting kicked. It's very scary. Full clone onto the Arcane Mage. This Windwalker Ellie Ardruid is making a really good like representation of how this comp should be played. Oh,
Absolutely.
Full shear on the Mistweaver into the Lightning Lasso. He's gonna go down here. There's no way he survives, and he dies. Oh, that was really unlucky. There was a trap onto the Ardruid there, trying to like just get it like a counter go, but it looked like it wasn't enough, and the Mistweaver got caught and just got bullied a little bit there. That was Lightning Lasso is not nice. I don't like
No, it is not. We definitely see it can catch, just like we said, any of these Windwalker or sorry, Resto, Mistweaver monks and Resto Druids. We can catch them off guard. And I apologize for that. That is the team Monkey Brains taking that first win there with the Lightning Lasso onto Livintan to get that first win in the series. So with that, I'm sure we can expect to see them looking to maybe swap to a different map here that might be a little bit more in their favor. Cokes, you got any predictions on maybe as Team Unknowns what you might be going for?
Well, they do have a Mistweaver, so maybe Torban Arena they might enjoy that. So I'm not quite too sure. The matchups are, I've never ever seen these on ladder, so it's very hard to make predictions on it. But normally Arcane Survival tries to go with like polys, and then like you can half trap out of polys, or like you can poly a target, trap the healer, and then like stun your off target. So you can have amazing triple CC if you're able to get it in like a perfect scenario, right? So I don't know. I think either team could take it. I think Torban might be more favorable for even both teams. I think it gives them more opportunities to run. It is an Arcane Mage, so I don't know. We'll see.
Well, we see them deciding to go with a Dalaran Sewers pick. And I think that's really putting a lot of strength and a lot of trust in, and I think rightly so, in their DPS. So I think, LFG Buddy or Paradise One definitely feels very confident that this is going to be something that they're going to be able to take advantage of, free him up, open himself up for the position to make a lot more of an impact in these games. Because being part of a team with a situation where they swap onto your healer and die so fast, it makes you feel like, oh man, I could have done something. So I'm sure we're going to see them try to do something here as we go into this Dalaran Sewers here.
Wow, it looks like they're changing up the comp a little bit. Looks like a Boomkin. It's going to be Boomkin Survival Mistweaver, which is actually a very, very, very strong comp into Ardruids, because you bring the clones and you bring the hibernates, which is really, really toxic when you're trying to cross the map as an Ardruid. This looks good. I'm excited to see this matchup here.
Absolutely. As we see 5 seconds until the gates open here on the Dalaran Sewers. So we see the Boomkin coming out here, I believe. Is that, yeah, the Boomkin from Richards on this team. Going to be an interesting decision on who they're going to try to focus on. Personally, I'd like to see them be focusing here onto the Survival Hunter, but it looks like they start with the initial Lightning Lasso with this leg sweep onto Richards. Is initially that first beam that he's able to escape, but Richards already taking a huge amount of damage from that Maledict's connecting with the Cocoon coming out right away as we see Livian also popping that brew there to kind of keep himself alive, but Lavish taking a huge amount of damage well as all these Maledicts start to connect. It's kind of a Maledicts buffet here as we're kind of getting just started here on this map.
That was a very good double clone into Bash. Lava Lash is in a lot of trouble here. He's still under a lot of pressure. Looks like he trades out the Ironbark and the Thorns on the Lava Lash. Incarn is out of Richards here. Clone Lava Lash low. He ended up trading out the Trinket. It looks like they might be trying to put their attention into this Boomkin potentially.
Yeah, interesting decision for the Trinket on that. Really, is no real big damage is being popped. He really wasn't in that much of a dangerous situation. You know, I can't understand why the Trinket there was necessary, but you know, Richard's still taking a lot of damage here as he's being forced into bear form here, trying to look for Cyclones. But the Lava Lost are coming to him out of form. Still also with no Trinket. Ironbark being used on himself, or Barkskin, excuse me, being used on himself here with his healer still stuck in a Cyclone.
That was very unfortunate. It was Incap into a clone on the Trinket. He's getting triple cloned out. Richards in a lot of trouble here. He trades off the Cocoon onto Richards. It does get cloned. That is very, very bad. That means this Mistweaver cannot top this Boomkin. Gonna look really bad for this team. There's a clone over onto LFG, buddy. He's opting out to not Trinket. Very good discipline right there. Full bash onto the Mistweaver. Richards is in a lot of trouble. Your full lightning lasso. Can this Mistweaver get him up? No, he's down. Oh no, that was very well executed CC onto this Mistweaver, and it looks like Richards ended up going down there. Oh. Wow,
yeah,
that
really,
LA damage.
Some really good clones from Milky Jammy, the Resto Druid, on Team Monkey Brains there to, you know, it's just perfectly timed to be able to render his Cocoon useless and just be able to swap around the cooldowns, being able to stop any type of healing really being sent into his team, you know, for the unknowns to be able to make advantage of their healing. So really great job to be able to place those clones and such interesting spots there that definitely paid dividends for his team there and being able to secure that second kill.
Yeah, that was a very good clone on the Monk Bubble there that prevented all of the healing from the Mistweaver for that window that he was trying to top him there. It was Monk Bubble, and then you normally put the bubble just to stabilize the HP, and then if it gets cloned, then you just whatever HP he went into the bubble at, he stays at, right? So he has more trouble getting him back up after he gets out of that clone. Very, very unfortunate.
Absolutely, but I'm sure that is not the last that we will see from Team Unknowns. They're going to be looking for blood. They're going to be I mean, we saw some definite great setups there where that game could have gone either way, and I think honestly, even if we did cue that into again, this games could be going either way. And so, no doubt, we will be looking forward to whatever they are going to be able to break out in these next couple of matches. So that should be very interesting here as we get into our third matchup for the night. So, Cokes, you know, with what's been going on, what have you been queuing on ladder? And so, what have you been seeing? What have you been enjoying playing?
Me personally, I've been playing a lot of RMD. I've been also playing Windwalker Fire Disc, and that's been a lot of fun. More just anything revolving around what benefits fire very well.
Mm-hmm.
And what I've seen on ladder a lot is it's still been very it's a lot of the same things, right? You see the turbos, you see the Walking Deads, you see the the RMPs, the RM Palas. A lot of that is still very strong in the current meta, but some of the things you see more I'm maybe because I'm biased. I really don't like Ellie Destro Ardruid. LSD is very, very scary for RMD. It's one of the most terrifying things you could queue into, and just a lot of the same things on ladder. I haven't necessarily seen too much of a meta change. Everybody that was kind of playing their comp last season is more than likely playing it this season, but they're just they might be a couple changes, they have a different trinket on, or they might throw a prot in the mix or something, right? Mm-hmm. So it's fairly similar. There's also the jungles, the cupids. They are there. There's less of them. There's less RMPs as well because discs they so quick now. So it's really hard for a disc to go toe to toe with some of these healers.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure, exactly. And me, I mean a Holy Paladin, and I know it's just been, I've always liked and enjoyed the way that Holy Paladin plays, but with recent changes and everything, it's the mana game is very interesting now on how that all shakes down. And personally, I like the spot that Holy's in, but I feel like with the current meta, it's very neutered in the sense that it doesn't quite meld as much with a lot of comps as I would like it to. And so, you know, is I don't think we're going to see a lot of Holy Paladins coming out today, especially with what's going on lately with this meta. So I guess I'll be holding down the reins on my Holy Paladin there.
Poor Holy Paladins.
Yeah, right. Right. Oh man, I wish I could see the team
Keep
names.
you in our thoughts because Paladins are taking it a little bit rough though, but they were very strong last season, so you had your fun. I'm not saying that like it's a good thing that you're not in the meta right now.
Yeah,
you had a lot
right.
of fun last season, so
Yeah.
it's definitely
Exactly.
terrible that you're not in the best healer. But you guys do very well with mana though. Like
We
in
do.
a long game, Holy Paladins can really sustain mana for a long period of time. So if
Absolutely.
you play with a comp that's really good at like lasting, like hey, Holy Paladins can still.
And I think what it's become is it's become a very niche thing where it's great. It's a great counter if you're going up against something that's like a double melee because now you have those bops and all that available to you. But
Yeah.
you know, with that being said, we are getting into our third matchup here with the predetermined winners. Not actually, that's just their name, against the Super Tadpoles, who we have seen already take that first match against Doyle Snipes in a 2-1.
Wow, it looks like the DH Warriors is gonna run at this Priestall game. Quick early Stormbolt onto the Mistweaver into a fear. Zelda's gonna have to trade something out. Looks like Monk Bubble is traded here. Love ended up getting feared, so did Genji there, but it looks like it's not going to matter too much. This Warrior is running Adaption, so he's not getting CC'd as much as he like is normal. It looks like they're just going to spread the pressure. This Warrior and this Demon Hunter are just cleaving down this Mistweaver Shadow Windwalker. Zelda goes into the Disperse. I don't know if it's going to be enough. They're looking at now the Mistweaver. They're just cleaving like crazy right now. This is looking really scary.
Yeah, Cheatbreaker really wishing he also had a dispersion right now, but he doesn't. He has to heal Zelda, who's already dispersed as well. Zelda teetering on execute range. Tara's having a field day with being able to just spam that execute button as they are able to muster up enough pressure to easily take down a first really commanding win here in the Grand Arena.
That was just there was no time. Like there was no like pause at the start of that game. That was all in. We're already on your guys. We're beating everybody up. They're just in there already. They just instantly were on the team.
Absolutely. You know, and from a chaos cleave, that's what you want to see. You know, and now this is the third week that we've seen Love, Tara, and Genji coming out with that chaos cleave. A very strong comp right now. Also on the ladder, I'm sure if you have been on the ladder, you have seen chaos cleave coming in and out in your queue sessions. And so definitely going to command respect and require you to find some answers. Demon Hunter now with such a unique toolkit, it's almost tough to find those answers now.
Yeah, that was I think what the Windwalker Shadow Mistweaver could actually do to maybe counteract that is they could run more. They could just run more rings, right? They could just ring a piece. They could both run ring a piece. The Windwalker can give up his big karma and run ring, and so the Mistweaver.
Right.
And they just pretty much try to like throw CC at the priest and just keep the warrior off of them, right? So I think maybe that could be a strat in the future, but that is very scary when they're just on your entire team and they're just cleaving your entire team down. It's not where you want to be in a situation like that.
Yeah, for sure. You know, and one of the things that's always tough to deal with is you know, the impact that roots can have, I think, against Chaos Cleave is really powerful. So, you know, depending on what kind of mobility you can get, you may be able to stop both of them from having uptime, because really, you know, if you're not in deep in dampening, you should be able to handle one of like Genji having the uptime versus Genji and Taurus having the uptime on a target. So we do see them swapping here, making a little bit of a different comp here to deal with some of this as they start to bring out now what appears to be the Elemental Shaman and Fire Mage
This is what I
healed by
like
the
to see
Mistweaver.
right here.
Exactly.
This is good. This is actually a really good comp into Warrior Demon Hunter. I played this comp on ladder, and it's very, very strong into cleave because of the lightning lasso, and you can just like Fire Mage Combust go with lightning lasso, and I think it has the sustain to actually live the Disc Priest. I think that the Disc is going to eventually just and it's just going to be like a terrible time for the Demon Hunter Warrior.
Well, we will see as it's 8 seconds left until these gates open up. Predetermined winners who have been the reigning champions the last 2 weeks looking to easily close out this series, but I think the Super Tadpoles are say not so easy today as the gates now open as we see Genji automatically going for that big damage here right off the bat. Nothing that we would not expect here in the beginning of this match.
It looks like they're just going to trade their attention over to this Elemental Shaman and really just early fear on a Chi Breaker here from Love. He ends up trinketing it out and then trading out the Monk Bubble here. It is a Sharpen and Blade Storm from Tara, so there is a good trade on. But then they turn their attention over to this Fire Mage. It might get cauterized. Oh, there's a double fear. Does he block? No, he doesn't even get the block off in time. Gets executed there. Cauterized straight through it. I'm not sure if they maledicted it, but very, very quick swap over to the mage there after getting the Monk Bubble onto the Elemental Shaman, saying, okay, there's nothing left for this mage. We can get blocked for free and cauterize, and they ended up taking out the Fire Mage. That was very, very quick to there.
Yeah, it's one of, just because you get the answer still has to be executed, and so I feel like there was a lot that could have been done, and I almost wonder, Fire Mage is such a fun, unique class, and you see, if you follow Twitter at all, you see great like clips of Zaryu cleaning people as Fire Mage. I don't know, I enjoy those personally, but I almost feel like, would you feel more comfortable playing Frost into this rather than Fire?
In a way, it depends on what their motive is, right? So if they're trying to make early quick goes and try to not if they're trying to actually kill somebody like a quick kill in the enemy team, Fire is 100% the way to go. But if it's a cleave and you're more comfortable on Frost, I would say Frost is a little bit easier to live.
Mm-hmm.
If you're trying to win quick, Fire is the option. But if you're trying to maybe prolong the game and get a longer kind of play more mana bar-y type ordeal, then I would say Frost is a little bit better into that.
Yeah, for sure. And it's tough against then, because whether or not, at the very least, they want to extend the game enough to where they can do something or get a couple rotations of cooldowns. But at the same time, they also don't want to extend the game if they're not really being able to find a win condition. And I think we didn't really see at any point where anyone had a win condition against them. So we'll have to see if any teams have their number tonight. They're looking for someone who's going to contest them on certain fronts and who's going to try to make a statement tonight. But it looks like we'll have a next match of Super Tadpoles versus the Unknowns coming up again. Of course, again, we just watched our Super Tadpoles play with the what did they play earlier? Warlock and
the LSD.
Yeah, the LSD. That's right. Thank you. And of course, Unknowns coming out with the monk healer and Hunter and Boomkin. I think they played last time as well.
They also brought that Arcane Mage. I really
yeah, exactly.
That was good. Love it.
Yeah. So what did you think about some of the Arcane changes that have been kind of gone on lately?
The Arcane changes, I liked them. I think that they were a good step in the right direction. I still don't like how Arcane is still a very dampenery spec right now. It has about a minute and a half. Every minute and a half, you have an insane go, and then every non-minute, every outside of that go, you're just kind of running around, spamming poly, just kind of doing not very okay. You're doing okay damage. It's not great, and you can just get kicked at any moment and stop everything, right?
Right.
So it's a very the play style of it is I prefer Legion Arcane. I'm biased on that, but at the same time, I think there are mages that have made it work. Volts, for example, plays it. He plays Feral Arcane Disc and makes it work. So it is still a very good spec. It's just if you're into that whole wait for your go and then like do nothing outside of it, then that's where the plays out. But it looks like
A very patient play style, absolutely.
yeah, very very patient. You have to just like kind of run in between your goes, and you're not really doing much outside of it. So but it's still a very strong spec, that's for sure.
Yeah, and I think as we're just about to mention there, we do see a composition change here from the unknowns as they bring out that arcane and boomy, kind of getting rid of the hunter here, maybe seeing if they can get a little bit more of a different momentum here to change up the pace. I know unknowns maybe struggling a little bit more than they thought in their last couple of matches, but we see Malaka pushing in for some damage here, out onto Zelda, the Shadow Priest, who seems to be a very popular target here, as I'm sure Chi Breaker has probably not pumped any heals into My Name is Kyle, except for that one game where he just absolutely got globaled.
Yeah, it looks like they're the Arcane Boomkin are trading their attention over to the Shadow Priest. There's an early clone on the Shebreaker into a stun, into a bash on Zelda. Zelda ends up trinketing there, and Richard trinkets because he incarns. Mind Bomb over to the Mistweaver from. Oh my goodness, there's looks like a lot of cooldowns are just being traded out here. They're not trying to do it. They're pretty much stalemating it here with Incarn. They're running from it, and it looks like trinkets out of Lilithan. Lilithan. Can't say that name. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and a lot of teams you'll see them as a really appropriate response, just running and just lining Incarn, because it's such, that 2 minute, 3 minute, what is it, 2.5 minute cooldown, just not not like, to be able to take that out of the game at least for the first like 3 minutes gives you a lot of chance to hold on to some cooldowns and not really have any cracks in your foundation, a lot of walls of defensives that a team is going to have to go through before they can really start to make you sweat.
Yeah, definitely. It looks like the mind bomb over onto Livy. Sorry, I can't say the name. And Richard is in a lot of trouble here. And Zelda looks like he got CS there into a bash on a Chi Breaker. Looking really scary for this Boomkin Arcane here, but they're just kind of living. This is
Yeah, and we see, the mana race so far, Leviathan, I'm going to go with.
all Leviathan, yes.
Yeah. Seeming to kind of be drained of his mana a little bit more so than Chi Breaker here, as Chi Breaker himself is taking a little bit of damage here, being able to stay behind that pillar, top himself off a little bit, and he's doing a fair amount of job topping his team off efficiently. But we see Richards now caught in a leg sweep, taking a fair amount of damage from My Name is Kyle as the images come out and pumping into that bear. It'll be interesting to see if they can find a good opening here, because the Barkskin is now already traded as well.
It was a very good cocoon trade-off right there under Richards. Before the end cap landed, nullified all the damage. He was able to live to the next go. It also looks like they're trading their attention over to Chi Breaker here, trying to get a little bit of damage on this Mistweaver who's a little bit pushed up, but like he's just going to get behind a pillar and just kind of be able to live to the next opportunity. Full bash on a Chi Breaker though. Looks like they're pushing in onto him. They're going to trade a lot of damage into this Mistweaver here. I'm a little bit worried for Chi Breaker beam on him as well. That they're just trying to bully him off this pillar. If they can keep doing this, they might be able to land a kill on the Chi Breaker.
Yeah, Chi Breaker's still sitting okay though, with the trinket available and that cocoon available. Should the worst case scenario come, but the triple leg sweep coming on to the unknowns. Leviathan still sitting behind the pillar, maybe looking for a cheeky drink here at some point. As Malaka pops that temporal shield to keep himself top off. But Richards also taking a lot of damage. He needs. Where's your bear form, Richards? But the cocoon is going to be saving the day.
Yeah, he's going into travel here to run down Chi Breaker a little bit more. He does lose that 20% extra healing. He did just pop Incarn, so I understand why he's running at this Mistweaver really hard right now. He does end up getting MC, trades out his trinket, full bash onto Chi Breaker. Chi Breaker ends up trinketing in capped onto Malaka, and then it's traded by Leviathan onto My Name is Kyle, and it looks like this Incarn might. They're going to be okay during this. There's not too much pressure going out onto this team.
Yeah, we see somewhat of a cat and mouse game coming out here from Richards and Chi Breaker, as the lack of cat and lack of mouse really don't tend to get a lot of damage rolling as Cheatbreaker's able to survive that incarnate go again. But My Name is Kyle taking a fair amount of damage there as he pops out the Touch of Death and the Karma here to keep himself alive, but also get some counter pressure on Richards, who is now being a good job at being able to sit in that bear form. I don't think this will be a bear and mouse game, though.
Definitely not. Looks like Zelda ended up getting polyed out on his shadow form there. Full clone onto My Name is Kyle, and Malaka is evocating real quick to get his mana back so he can steal these enveloping mists. Cold Bash onto Chi-Breaker, and looks like the Cocoon is traded out by Leviathan. And a clone onto Chi-Breaker again. No karma onto My Name is Kyle. If they land another clone, incap on him low. Full clone. If he lands a poly onto Chi-Breaker, it could be the game. Looks like Mistweaver bubble onto My Name is Kyle. And Richards is getting a lot of counter pressure here. Full silence on the Leviathan. Richards has got top right before the Mind Bomb landed, so it looks like he's going to be okay.
So the unknowns here, looking at a great window here on My Name is Kyle, where they were able to get rid of the Dampen Magic and the Cocoon. A little bit of a miscommunication. If Richards can survive this, they may just be able to get a kill on My Name is Kyle in these 25 seconds of window between Karma or Cocoon available from Chi-Breaker, and he has no trinket as well.
This is really scary. My Name is Kyle is in a lot of trouble here. If he ends up staying out, he's looking for just living right now, because in all possibility, if he can get his karma back in 5 seconds, he can play really aggressive and he will feel safe pushing under Richards, I think.
Yeah, and it's going to look like he's definitely going to get that, as really there's no advantage taken over this window. You know, I mean, if they don't have damage, they don't have damage for it. You know, with this Arcane Mage and Boomkin, it's going to be very much looking to get those setups. But My Name is Kyle now taking a fair amount of damage again, and might just get that karma. Excellent, they do get the karma, and you know, on to Chi-Breaker's luck, they were not able to overlap that again. So you know, hopefully now they will still be able to plan ahead for Incarn that's coming up again in 16 seconds.
Looks like Chi-Breaker ended up triggering off that clone. Touch of Death over on Richards by the looks of things. He's in bear form with Skin Up. Might have to trade Renewal here. He ended up doing that. Looking really scary for this Boomkin and Arcane right now. They're getting cleaved. Very, very, very much.
A little bit of a greedy play as the Maldic came in, quickly dispelled off of Richards. Really nice play by Leviathan, though. Leviathan sitting the Mind Bomb here, so this could be a lot of pressure they might have to deal with here, as his mana is also ticking down much lower than Chi-Breaker's.
Oh, Richards in a lot of trouble, ends up trading out that Cocoon. There's no trinkets from either of these healers, so it's anybody's game. This Shadow Priest or this Boomkin could go down at any moment. Looks like they're turning their attention over to Zelda. AP is popped here, full clone on, or half clone on to Chi-Breaker. He does have the Disperse, Zelda does. Incarn here has been up for a little while. It's going to be falling soon. Incap over on Kyle. MC onto Malaka. Looking pretty good for full leg sweep over on a Chi-Breaker. They might end up trying to put some attention into this Mistweaver again. Full Mind Bomb onto Leviathan. He looks like he's taking a big brunt of the force here. They're just kind of cleaving Richard and this Mistweaver down.
Really nice ring of peace, though, to keep Leviathan up and give him some safety and some breathing room, though, as Zelda taking a fair amount of damage, still sitting on Disperse, so looking to get the Mass Dispel off of just some Boomkin dots. You can't really dispel Mighty Bash, but Chi-Breaker now caught into the full clone. Zelda might be in a little... No, not going to be in a lot of trouble at all, as they swap the Polymorph onto My Name is Kyle.
Looks like the monk is trying to get a drink right here. They end up stopping it. I'm a little bit interested to see how this Shadow Priest can live in dampening, because it is a Boomkin and an Arcane Mage. Fling cap over into the Mistweaver with Leviathan. Zelda's in a lot of trouble. He might have to trade Disperse here. This is another Incarn. MC onto Malaka. Full clone on Chi-Breaker. Does he end up trading Trinket? He does not. He sits this full clone. He thinks Zelda's fine. He was able to live through it. Half clone onto Chi-Breaker.
So looking in here, it's really unfortunate they weren't able to get a dispersion right there, because the unknowns are in a very tough position where Leviathan is almost out of mana. He is almost There's about a little over a minute left on Incarn, and if they cannot land a kill on this Incarn with maybe around 30-something% dampening, they're just not going to be able to do it. But Richard's taking a lot of damage. He just needs to survive this, get to his Incarn again, as he's just kind of trailing them along. And Bearform, Maledict's connecting. Leviathan looking, we need to dispel.
Leviathan. Oh no,
Richard's holding
Richard's
out
in a
by a
lot of
thread.
trouble.
This bear form for charging for everything he can as the cat form comes out, get some distance. But these monks are relentless.
Oh, there's a like sweep to help Peel here, and on Polyon Zelda. Ritual will be able to stabilize here, and a clone on Sheebreaker. They're trading their attention to My Name is Kyle. AP traded here. Hopefully, he doesn't use too much, unless they're just going to go through the Karma. Do they disrespect it? Looks like they're already almost through it. They end up switching their attention over to Sheebreaker there. In cap on Sheebreaker. Richards is in still a lot of trouble here. It is 30% dampening. This is going to be really hard to heal. Even in bear form, he still takes 10% reduced healing.
But you can see My Name is Kyle having used that incarn, or sorry, Touch of Karma in-card coming up. My Name is Kyle is a great prime target. No trinket on Sheetbreaker. This is the chance for unknowns. Give the unknowns your energy if you can. They need it. Leviathan sitting the silence as we see Leviathan's bubble coming up.
Here
But My
comes
Name is
Incarn.
Kyle.
My Name is
The
Kyle's
dampen
in a lot of
magic.
trouble.
They
We'll
get the
here. They
swap
end up trading
from
a swap
Zelda.
and disperse. Oh, they traded disperse and swap there. That's really, really bad. There's no root beam there on Sheebreaker, though, which is the full bash on Sheebreaker. Zelda could be in trouble here. My Name is Kyle's in a lot of trouble. They need to get away from this Incarn. This Windwalker might go down here. MC over on Malaka. Does he trinket it? Looks like he does. Mistweaver bubble there. This is really scary for this
And
team.
with the incarnation down now, I'm really not sure if the unknowns are going to be able to land this kill as we move in March deeper and deeper into dampening now at 36%. But My Name is Kyle could be proving me wrong as he is getting low, but has a nice little heal as he's able to Transcendence back behind his pillar to safety. Vivify is being channeled, but also interrupted here on My Name is Kyle, popping the Ring of Peace to buy him a little bit more time to land this kill, but Touch of Karma now being traded, he should be okay enough for Cheatbreaker to be able to top him off very efficiently as Leviathan still dipping low on that mana bar.
Yeah, this is looking really scary. This dampening is getting really, really high. I think, honestly, one of these teams
But
will
they
go
do
down
it.
eventually.
But they do it. They managed to land the kill, popping in on him, and
Oh, wow.
oof.
Anything's possible in dampening.
I guess so. I guess so. You know, it's just do
can't heal
unhealable
through it.
damage.
You just reduce healing. It's a permanent MS. There's nothing you can do.
Yeah, exactly. So, but we do see the unknowns coming out strong this game, or stronger, I should say, taking this first win against the Super Tadpoles.
Wow.
So going into
It's an
this,
intense game.
yeah. So going into this, where do we see the Super Tadpoles going, going to next to be able to maybe take this to a game 3?
Not quite sure. With the one like it's not really it's a personal annoyance of mine is whenever teams go so deep into dampening, it takes so many goes to maybe eventually just get a kill. It's very hard to determine who could win because it could just be a game where like you get a really clean go and then you win before dampening, or you have to wait till dampening to end up killing something, right? So it's kind of hard to determine what their mindset is on how they want to win the game, right? So it's almost like anybody's game in dampening.
Absolutely, yeah, it is. It is, and because the slightest crits can come out, and all of a sudden your own personal heals are not healing so much. So when Transcendence was maybe able to get you by on the last go, it's not going to this time. And we saw the Ring of Peace coming out from the opposing monk. I think it was Leviathan, yeah, to be able to keep him out in the open, not allow him to get behind those pillars, which stops some of these Vivifies from being able to be channeled, which we're doing less and less. So all of a sudden we're looking at they're playing so defensive that damage is king in dampening, and as you start to not put out that damage, the enemy healer is going to look to get more and more and more aggressive.
Definitely. And also Boomkin, a majority of their damage is from their Sunfire and their Moonfire, so in deep dampening, Boomkins kind of have a little bit of an advantage, right? So I really like seeing Boomkins in deep dampening. It's really a fun matchup to watch because it's like that 3-minute mark's coming around, and it's like Incarn is just there. It's like, okay, what's going to happen? Who's going to get one shot type thing?
Yeah, absolutely. As we see them now deciding to go with the Ruins of Lordaeron pick, this This is an interesting decision, considering I was thinking they'd be looking for something more like a hook point, where they could line Incarn more easily, but also still have a close quarters match where they could keep uptime as they wished.
Definitely. This is a little bit easier of a map to get polys on. So I'm hoping to see a lot of like polys on the Chi Breaker from Waka here. And if he can get a lot more polys, they get a lot more consistency onto this Mistweaver Chi Breaker, it could end up changing the course of the game.
Yeah, I'm going to be really interested to see what Incarn is able to do and how are they going to run from it this time on Ruins of Lordaeron. But the gates are now opening as we can kind of see Richards coming out here on his Drake, ready to press that Incarn that's burning a hole on his keyboard, I'm sure.
Looks like the Mass Invis AP on Malake coming out here. They're trading their attention over to My Name is Kyle. Chi-Breaker gets beamed there. He might have to trinket. He does trinket. Ends up getting bashed. My Name is Kyle's in a lot of trouble here. Ends up trinketing the clone and the bash. They overlap a little bit there, but it's still Incarn from Richards. So looking really, really like they're making the big aggressive push right here. Richards ends up getting leg sweep, does not trinket, knows it. He needs that trinket later in the game. Trinket out of Leviathan, ends up trading Monk Bubble. My Name is Kyle, trades images. He's taking a lot of damage here, might end up harming. Ends up getting topped by Chi Breaker, looking really good right here.
Yeah, and Incarn going down, really not being able to get as much use as he thought he probably would be able to out of this. But Leviathan popping the way of the crane here, keeping his team easily topped. But now Richards looking at some incoming damage here as he lands the clone on My Name is Kyle. Really nice to stop that damage and also clone him low. Chi Breaker looking really going to need to get a nice second clone. I'm sure he's going to be looking to swap this clone now over into Chi Breaker as he receives that Mighty Bash. Chi Breaker not going to be able to do anything. He has no trinket. My Name is Kyle, forced to pop that Touch of Karma to keep himself alive here, but Chi Breaker might be able to top him off as he gets out of damage. But Richards, with a huge amount of counter pressure there from those images, tons of damage as they are able to take this into a game 3.
That was really nice. Richard was really pushed up. He ended up hitting the clone or triple clone onto My Name is Kyle, and then he ended up trading out his trinket for a leg sweep, I think is what it was. And then he ended up trinketing that and then bashing Chi Breaker, and he was just so pushed in that it was easy for the images of My Name is Kyle to just look over at Richards with Zelda in shadow form or void form and just completely annihilated him out of bear form.
Yeah, and for a good bit. Yeah, for a good bit, they were able to catch him not even in bear form right there. So a lot of that damage that could have been mitigated, it's just a missed opportunity to where, you know, Richards is just a little bit of a what am I trying to, like a greedy play there, wanting to try to stay offensive, you know.
Yeah.
And so it's
really
important.
So.
Yeah, they did, but you know, I guess they were able to enough of a counter attack to where his healer, you know, caught Resident Sleeper and that's, I mean, but that's the arena, you know. It's you can get great counter pressure, and you know, as soon as it looks like you're about to win the game, all of a sudden, next thing you know, they can take it right out of your hands and the game can be sealed. And so you know, it's going to be really important to have teams that have good synergy and being able to communicate well with your healer, so that you know if you're going to be okay, you know he's going to be able to save you should the worst case scenario pop up. You know you've got renewal, you know you've got trinket sack, you know you've got you know, trinket karma, whatever it may be. So just, you know, you know, we've seen plenty of teams through this tournament with who are a little bit more veteran, have those types of things in the bag. And you know, should we see someone try to come up against the predetermined winners, or I forget what their name has been in the past, but Love, Genji, and Tara, who have won the last 2 weeks, you know, I'm sure they have those things as well, and we've seen those types of things come out of them in these tournaments. So that'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, definitely with the way Boomkin plays is sometimes you never even come out of bear form unless you're in Incarn. I played Boomkin a lot last season, and it was you just in bear form, spam and Moonfires, because you can actually still generate astral power for your Star Searchers in bear form, so you can prepare a go in bear form. You can have 100 astral power coming out of bear form, so it's almost like if you feel like you're a little scared, you know, you just, okay, I'm gonna go into bear form, and then I'll come out with 100 astral power, and then I'll make my go. So it's
Mhm.
one of those things. It's really it's all about living. Boomkins. And they're
Exactly.
also Boomkins are not necessarily in the meta right now. I don't see too many of them on ladder, so I'm really excited to see a Boomkin playing here. So, and an Arcane Mage. That
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's always fun to see stuff that isn't necessarily what you're used to seeing on ladder. It's a little bit refreshing, at least for some of us, and it's also a fun chance to try out some specs that you just kind of wished were a little more uh, in a different spot, or even just play with some people who you have fun playing with, and even though your classes don't quite line up, at least you can here. So here we go into game number 3 of this series of Super Tadpoles versus the Unknowns, as we see the same comps coming out. Um, I can say that's probably no surprise. And these close range maps being favored here as the Dalaran Sewers begins to open up.
I'm really wanting to see a little bit more of like an early aggression out of the Invis from Malaki here. Maybe gets a little bit aggressive and gets the early poly, and there's a tension. But it looks like Richards ends up taking a lot of the brunt force here. That is already on him. Trades out his thorns. My name is Kyle's kind of taking a lot of damage from it, getting cleaved, pops his images, skin traded from Richards and Monk Bubble. Beam over on a Chi Breaker. My name is Kyle, still getting a little low here. Silence on the Leviathan ends up trading Crane. They're going to be going really hard on My Name is Kyle here. Sheebreaker might have to trinket this Orc Karma from My Name is Kyle. Ooh, looks like he's getting really low. Incarn traded here too.
But he's able to get behind this pillar, channels some Vivify. Ooh, the Vivify just barely stopped with a Ring of Peace there from Cheebreaker, or sorry, from Leviathan. Um, and he's gonna get leg swept here, but Cheebreaker's gonna be able to top him up here, as this Incarn really is just kited around these boxes. Really unfortunate for Richards, who is being tested right now, and I really think in order for Unknowns to come out with this, Richards is really going to have to do well to heed what you said there. Take advantage of that bear form, and come out when you have Incarn, when you have the kill setup available. Why give them a potential to have a win condition if you don't have one yourself? So we see Richards now being caught again into these damage. You'll notice every time. Okay, and there's bear form. A little late, but some of these cooldowns can be saved by just sitting in bear form a little bit more.
Yeah, I'm a little bit worried about Leviathan's mana here. It's dipping really low because he did press Crane already. You gotta remember, Crane is a very big ability, so sometimes Boomkins like to try to innervate for Crane. Maybe they might try to opt to do it here. Beam over on a Chi Breaker. Zelda's in Void form. My name is Kyle. Doesn't have very much offensive cooldowns here, so this Boomkin Arcane shouldn't look too scared from this team. There's a clone over on Zelda to kind of nullify some damage there. Richards trades his Thorns out. Looking a little scared here. He's just kind of running around a little bit. My name is Kyle is going to potentially end up making another go here soon. I'm thinking that maybe if there's an opportunity for Malaka to maybe push on to Cheebreaker with some polys, Richard can kind of tank the Windwalker for a while, and maybe they can get a little bit early pressure off, maybe get a Cheebreaker.
Yeah, well, we see AP still available from Malaka here, and a lot of the defensive still available on the team of Super Tadpoles, so there really aren't going to be a whole lot of holes in their defenses right now, but they're going to need to try to get something if they want to be able to try to get a kill from this Incarn that's available in another little less than 50 seconds now. But just a lot of stalemate damage being traded out as the mana bar is kind of taking a very similar turn to the last game. Leviathan using and being drained a little bit faster than Chi Breaker here, who's doing a good job at kind of max ranging and keeping his team topped off with channeling those soothing mists.
Definitely, it looks like Richard's taking a lot of damage here. This might end up being just a mana battle at this point because Leviathan is in a lot of trouble. MC over into Malaka on his AP ends up trinketing it out. Richard's in a little bit of trouble here. Re-MC onto Malaka. Shadow Priest is just bullying this Arcane Mage at this point. It's looking really scary. And into an incap. Oh, this mage is having such a bad day. And thank goodness he didn't get a leg swept right there. That would have been really, really sad, and make my heart hurt a little bit because I've been in that situation. Ooh, so my name is Kyle. Ended up trinketing. He ended up touching deathing under Richards here. Richards ends up trading out the bark. A lot of damage on Richards. I think he's gonna be okay in bear form.
I think he would have just been okay without the bark skin, but bark skin and thorns. I think it's a little bit of an overreaction, but it could potentially mean danger for him in the future if he's not so lucky to be caught in bear form on the lake sweep.
He does have his trinket renewal though, so he's looking a
Yeah.
little happy there. He ends up incarnating and trading out his trinket there. Richards does into another MC. His incarnate is getting completely nullified right now. He's not having a very good day. Looks like they're looking at Zelda a little bit. They're just kind of pulling back, and they're just kind of living through this incarn, lining it, making the Boomkin be very upset with their choice of lining right now.
This Boomkin is
very
very mad.
he's very he's mad about what's going on. They're just lining his incarn. Now they're pushing back out. His incarn is over. They're looking at maybe killing Richard here. He does end up trading silence onto Leviathan. Leg sweep onto Richards. He trades out his bark skin again into a stun on Leviathan. Into a fear. Oh, the CC is insane. He does have renewal still. Richard can just renewal here. He ends up getting his Star Search Proc Incarn there into an MC on him low. He's looking kind of scared. He might end up renewing here, but it is the way the crane that just fell off Leviathan. Richards gets kicked, can't actually renewal yet. They're looking at My Name is Kyle here, full bash onto him, clone on a G-Breaker. They're looking to turn their attention maybe over to Kyle here. He does have his Karma still, MC on a Malaka. Malaka's having a bad day with these MCs. And it looks like Leviathan gets feared from the spelling of the BTs. My Name is Kyle gets cloned here to help him out a little bit. Maybe they're trying to recover.
Yeah, and Richards still holding onto his thorns a little bit, but I've got to say, if you look at the team at the side of the Super Tadpoles, they have been able to hold onto their defenses this whole game. There really has not been a whole lot of holes in their walls from what the Unknowns have been able to muster. Incarnation being lined just each time, but we see Richards taking a lot of damage here, getting that bark skin, and it looks like the Touch of Karma just being used offensively there to try to get a little bit more damage pushing out, considering he hasn't needed to use it defensively up until this point. So, but My Name is Kyle now looking a little bit more like a target, even though Cheatbreaker's probably still got enough tools in his shed to be able to save him.
Definitely, I really like the choice of innervating the way of the crane there in Leviathan. They're gonna have a little bit of pressure here. Leg sweep on Leviathan on his crane. He does end up treating this. Richards in a lot of trouble. He ends up treating the fear and then cooning Richards here. He does skin as well. They might try to turn their attention over to My Name is Kyle without Karma. Touch of Death is about to pop here. Richards does trade thorns out as well. My Name is Kyle with a lot of trouble. Maybe Cheatbreaker has to treat this clone. Delta into the incap. Can't actually swap here. If they have anything more. Leg sweep out of that on G-Breaker. He does have the cocoon on Kyle. There is the little mini incarn there from Richards. It is looking pretty scary for this.
G-Breaker trinkets out of that to be able to keep him alive. I don't know if that was the best use of Trinket, but...
He got Poly. That's so good. That's really good for them. That Poly is insane. It helps them get a lot more pressure on My Name is Kyle here. Definitely hoping to see maybe a kill here.
And for the first time this game, we see a little bit of life coming out from the Unknowns as they're able to kind of get some trinket and put some holes into the defenses of the Super Tadpoles as we kind of start getting and dabbling into dampening here. Richards looking really dangerous, popping that incarnation, but he's being forced into bear form, teetering at 10% health. Maldek's being channeled in, but so is the cocoon. Leviathan still sitting in the fear, looking to line here as he's able to get out of line of sight and top himself off with a little bit of bear form heals. Cyclone being landed here onto Zelda to stop some of this spread pressure and allow his healer Leviathan to top his team up. They need to survive until this next go if they want to be able to get a win in this match.
Definitely, Richard is completely tapped right now. He has no bark skin, no renewal. He has to sit in bear form to save his life. Leviathan has no trinket for 30. If they can maybe land a kill on Richards right here, it's going to be really good. Poly over on My Name is Kyle. Swinunker's kind of being annoying. CCing him out. He was able to get it right before the fist, didn't able to get to cancel it. Zelda ends up treating the clone. Looks like they're going to trade a lot of their attention over to maybe this Arcane Mage here. Malaka ends up trinketing this. Malaka still has blocks, so I don't necessarily know if it's the best idea. Looks like he's going to temp here. Full bash on My Name is Kyle, trinkets it instantly, pops his images, stun over on the G-Breaker. Richard's in a lot of trouble here, full silence on Leviathan, and Richard just goes down, no trinket on Leviathan. His trinket was coming off cooldown in 2 seconds. He had 2 seconds before he could trinket crane and then topped Richard. That was very, very, very close right there. He had the littlest time on his trinket, and if he had gotten it back just a little sooner, he would have been able to save Richard.
Yeah, and of course, at the same time, Richard's also probably could have saved himself, as you had mentioned, looking to just sit in bear form, stop some of this damage, don't allow yourself to be such an easy pin cushion while we wait for some of our defenses to come back up, and you can't help but think that the Unknowns could have had so much more of a chance in this game should they had kind of played into their strengths a little bit more there. But definitely thanks for both teams for coming out and playing these matches. Um, and once again, this is the Kings of the Hollow put on by us, the Resurgent Esports Broadcasting. We host this every Monday for the whole community to participate. It's open to everyone. You can come and bring your own team of 3, or you can, what we refer to as hashtag solo queue, by bringing yourself, your attitude, and hopefully it's a good one, because otherwise you won't have a lot of fun. And we'll pair you up with a team. So we'll get you a team of a decent composition. And we've had a couple teams who have met solid arena players, or teams now that they queue into the Arena World Championship with. So we hope that you guys enjoy watching, enjoy coming, participating, whatever it is, however, whatever level you choose to be involved in. We thank you. And so, with that, we'll be getting into some of these further rounds. And as some of you may already know, we um, will run a round robin here. So, we'll give each team a chance to play every other team in um, this tournament. And as we get closer, we'll start to figure out which teams have the highest win-loss ratio, and we'll put the top 3 or 4 teams up together into a finals to duke it out and determine who is going to be the Kings of the Hollow this week. But with that, we have one of our veteran teams, the Mop Dream Reformed, coming up against the Predetermined Winners, who are also one of these teams who have been an absolute powerhouse, a mighty mitochondria, if you will, of the prison cell here. And this is gonna be a battle of the heavyweights right here, Cokes.
Wait, who's on Mom Dream Team?
So Mob Dream Team is the resilience team that we've seen come out time and time again. They are participating in the Arena World Championships and have been able to land a few wins here. Not quite to the top 8, but getting closer and closer. And they're going to be coming out here with a little bit of looking to make a statement, I have a feeling.
It's awesome. I'm really excited to see some like really like teams, big heavyweights just kind of going like a very like serious game, like because they're the thing is with these teams, they probably play ladder right now because it's the best way to get gear if you PvP all day, right? So they probably are just gonna like know the ins and outs of like how to take advantage of the enemy team. So it'll be very interesting to see what their strats are and what they bring to the table.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that still may possibly remain to be unknown is what else the Predetermined Winners is the team name they're going by this week. What else they may have in their bag. We've only really seen them play this Chaos Cleave, bringing this Warrior and Demon Hunter Disc Priest out into the battlefield. I'm curious to see what else they might have in their bag. But we've seen them come in here and not drop a series the whole tournament, like 2 weeks in a row. So, you know, is this the chance we may start to see them struggle to where they need to reach back and into their satchel and kind of figure out what's left in there? What other kind of tricks do they have up their sleeve? Because I have a feeling there might be a few up there.
I'm really excited to see what's going to happen here. I'm excited to see what comp they bring as well because Disc Chaos Cleave is not exactly the best healer for it. Normally with an Ardroid or a Shaman even. So I'm really interested to see maybe they can abuse the Disc Priest mana a little bit more than some of these other teams potentially.
Yeah, absolutely. So with that, we'll be looking at getting this game here started. But we are also, Cokes, have you looked at some of the stuff that we've been looking at trying to bring out with the 6v6 arena scenes or rated battleground scenes?
I'm not sure. I actually am not quite too sure. I think 6v6 RBGs are like awesome idea, or even like a 5v5 war games. Bringing back some fives. Those are like always really great. I'm not quite too sure what is it.
So we are looking at trying to bring together 6 versus 6 battlegrounds available for just like this type of play, where we'd like to see a somewhat of a competitive scene kind of breed out from there. And that's something that you can definitely stay tuned to, but the way to stay tuned is to follow us on Twitter or follow us on Twitch. Of course, on Twitter you can find us at the handle Resurgent ESB, or you can go down, just down, and find our Twitter right there as well. All of that stuff will be available for you also on our website. But here we go, opening up into this first matchup on a Grand Arena between the Predetermined Winners and Mob Dream Reformed.
Looks like Predetermined Winners are just going to turn all their attention early to this Boomkin here, just instantly on him. Early Stormbolt onto the Holy Paladin. Thorns traded out by the Boomkin. He ends up getting incapped out of that Stormbolt. A lot of damage onto this Boomkin, but then look at Taurus. Taurus in a lot of trouble because he's hitting into this Thorns. It's your boy, end up having it sacked here and melee wing traded out from this Paladin. Full Fear on Insane Dream. He ends up, or Insane Dam, he ends up trinketing there. Incap over to Plumber Dross. This Predetermined Winners team, and they're just instantly in this team's face and getting a lot of cooldowns here.
But we see the Lightning Lasso being channeled as Taurus actually starts dipping below half health. But it's your boy looking to get some of that counter pressure as he's managed to get in the bear form before that Chaos is channeled here to be able to give him a chance to negate some of that incoming damage. But Insane Dam with that Holy Paladin, represent, brother, bring it out with that bop.
Oh yeah, Holy Paladin's Dying Breed. He is showing that they are still there and still alive. Full Hex over onto Brook here. He does end up having to trinket that Taurus into the Lightning Lasso here. Maybe anything on Brook here, and they could get a free trinket from this Mistweaver. It's your boy in a little bit of trouble, still at half HP. Nova or stun over onto the Holy Paladin. Stormbolt onto It's Your Boy. Oh my goodness, this Boomkin's in a lot of trouble here. Might end up having to just trade out his renewal, but he saves it. He's really greedy. I love that he
decides to go with that trinket bear form as well, knowing that if you can just trinket now, he knows, I'm gonna have to be a little bit quicker on anticipating the bear form here a little bit sooner, because he's not gonna have that trinket to rely on. But he does have the Thorns and Nourish, as you mentioned here. But I really like what they've been able to do here to stop some of this initial scare pressure that Genji and Taurus are able to put out on these teams initially. But it's your boy still taking a lot of damage here as Insane Dam is caught into a little bit of some CC here as the Stormbolt comes out onto the bear. Insane Dam trying to channel in some Holy Lights into him to keep him topped up and get him back up out of execute range that I'm sure Taurus has been having a field day on lately.
Yeah, definitely. The Brook ended up trinketing there, and on the Lightning Lasso on Taurus, Full Fear on Insane Dam, It's Your Boy is in a little bit of trouble here. Stun over onto this Paladin. This Boomkin's still looking pretty good right now for the amount of CC, but then there comes a full Chaos Nova. He ends up sacking him and bopping him at the same time. I'm not quite too sure what happened there. Looks like they're trading over to Plumber Josh here. This Hodge over onto the Mistweaver. Josh ends up trading on his Astral Shift, ends up getting kicked there. Can't really go into Ghost Wolf quite yet. And then Taurus gets traded over to Full Hex over onto Brook. He cannot, or she can not get out of that Hex there. Taurus in a little bit of trouble. Could be going down potentially. Full Root Beam over onto the Mistweaver as well. Cranes it, can get out of that Root Beam with Crane. That is a good note. Sharpen over onto the Boomkin. He ends up skinning here. The haste thing out of the Holy Paladin thing coming out here. We should be able to top out this Boomkin.
So Taurus opted to trade out the Die by the Sword, even with Way of the Crane being topped. That I'm interested to see if that could be a mistake going into the future here. Is there now a little bit of an opening on Taurus with no trinket on the Mistweaver? Plumber Josh out of that Stormbolt taking a lot of damage here, but he is able to top himself off here as Insane Dam is able to channel in a good amount of mana. But look at the mana race right now as the Mob Dream are looking to create themselves a win condition on mana as Broke XO is running real low, sitting around 20% mana right now as he channels that Cocoon into Taurus. But it's your boy also taking a fair amount of damage, forcing that bear form, really doing a good job to make sure that he is staying in bear form to mitigate some of this damage that could be really scary from Genji and Taurus if he's caught outside of that bear form.
Definitely. I really like the discipline from the Monk here to not trade out the Way of the Crane with such low mana. We'll just this Monk at that point. Taurus in a lot of trouble here. Ends up maybe just going down to this Lightning Lasso. Sheer onto the Mistweaver. The Mistweaver's kicked. Can't quite do anything. Looks like they're gonna stabilize here. Mistweaver healing is really good.
Such
still,
a cool and calm, collected play there from Genji to just immediately Vengeful Retreat and drop that darkness to keep Taurus okay, and Taurus just stays there confident, knowing that this darkness will it'll get me through. So a really impressive play there, just to see. It's almost like clockwork. They know should a member of the team be in trouble, just a quick solution here is Insane Dam coming in with a Divine Shield and Avenging Crusader here, or the melee wings.
Definitely. This is looking really scary for this Mistweaver Chaos Cave right here. There's no mana left on this. Mistweaver gets in full
Plumber
root beam here.
John's teetering. The
Oh
Aura Master is
no!
not going to be much. He's going to need some Holy Shocks fast. Oh, but the CC out from the Demon Hunter is going to allow the predetermined winners to take the first W in this match.
Wow. What a game. That was intense.
Yeah, I really like that we were able to see a little bit of counter pressure for Taurus, not to just be out hyper aggressive in battle stance this whole time, sitting a little bit at D stance, forcing Genji to have to just peel off and save him, drop a darkness. Um, I mean, it shows their well veteran versed ability to be able to work together as a three dynamic unit. But I still think, Mob Dream could really come out with something that is able to make them dig a little bit deeper, and possibly into maybe seeing what other kind of classes they might have available to them.
Definitely, that was a very good representation of how to prolong the game and potentially end up winning with mana. Like if they didn't, if Mob Dream Team lived through that go right there, and they were able to restabilize their like HP bars and actually make another go onto the enemy team, they very well would have won because that Mistweaver was very that was completely tapped. Like very like they were in a lot of trouble. If there's no mana on the Mistweaver, you can't really heal much without your Crane or check your mana. So
Yeah, absolutely.
really scary at that point.
It looks like they will be opting to take the Blade's Edge map. That could be interesting. I,
Huh.
I kind of like that.
Interesting. I also want to point out, real quick, I really like how the Warrior DH team, they actually decided to go over onto the Mistweaver, knowing that if they queued into Holy Pally Enhanced Boomkin, that it would be a lot more scarier than or not Enhanced, the Shaman Boomkin. Holy Pally, like the mana would be a lot more of an issue, right? So the Mistweaver has a lot more like easier of a time kind of healing the damage of the Mob Dream team. So it's like it's really like it's nice to see that they bring out a different comp for whenever there's for example a scarier comp if you for example the healer were to play disc into it.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. And and I think I can't help but think there may have been a few mispresses on the side of Mob Dream Reformed here, on whatever was the deal with Bop with Blessing of Sacrifice. So I'm sure we can clean up a few things here, and that'll make a big difference as we get ready to go into this game number 2 here with Mob Dream Reformed versus the predetermined winners. Is the team name they were going up with this time around.
Definitely looks like early Stormbolt over onto this Shaman. Fearon and St. Dan ends up getting trimmered out, sharpened by Taurus early over onto the Shaman, full clone onto the Boomkin. There's already up in there. Oh, he reflected the clone, I'm sorry. And Plumber Josh has to trade his Astral Shift here. Genji ends up trading the clone into re-clone on the Trinket. Very well done by this Boomkin here. Looks like Plumber Josh is an all-in over here with no Astral Shift and being so low.
Absolutely, and Insane Damn opting to go with the melee wings here to top his team off a little bit, and the Chaos Nova and he trinkets out of the Chaos Nova. An interesting decision. Gonna leave his team very vulnerable as Plumber Josh is still taking a huge amount of damage, kicked on his Stormbolt, but we see the Root Beam coming out onto Broke XO as Taurus quickly and immediately trades out that die by the sword to keep himself top or somewhat okay, as he still is sitting at 30%. Mob Dream Reform still doing a good job to keep Taurus in trouble.
Yeah, predetermined winners here. The Mistweaver ended up getting having to trade out his Trinket right there, and ends up getting re-cloned on his Trinket. Full Stormbolt over on It's Your Boy during his Incarn. Taurus in a lot of trouble. If they can actually turn some attention over to this Warrior, they might be able to land the kill with no Trinket on this Mistweaver.
But Plumber Josh has not been able to catch a break this whole game as he receives that Blessing of Protection that thankfully is going to be not dispelled from Genji, who's sitting in a Cyclone right now. But they look to try to get some damage out on Ataris with that Lightning Lasso, but he's sitting decently okay, but he's sitting at 50% health as well. But BrokeXO decides to trade out that Cocoon. Really good to call here. Such a quick cooldown to be able to utilize to its maximum potential. But Mop Dream Reform still taking a large amount of damage as their whole team almost seems to be rotting.
Yeah, this is the power of this map and this cleave type double melee setup. It looks like a full clone over onto this Mistweaver. Taurus could be in a little bit of trouble here. Ends up not taking too much damage on the clone. Boomkin gets kicked leg sweep over on Insane Dam. Full hex onto this Mistweaver. Triple fear on Insane Dam. They can't trimmer it because it's on the Shaman as well, so that's really unfortunate. Skin by It's Your Boy. Root Beam there onto the Monk. He's not running Crane this time around, so he actually can't get out of these Root Beams. This is very good if he can land these full Root Beams on this team. Hodge there ends up getting reflected, and then Insane Dam.
The full clone coming out.
Oh, wow, that's good.
Oh, but I don't know how I feel about the knock, but that's too bad. It's your boy still, Mob Dream Reform still taking a fair amount of damage, but Genji with a huge amount of damage on him as the Cocoon is traded out just before BrokeXO gets placed in that Cyclone. I haven't seen his health bar dip that low in a while, but Plumber Josh, that poor Shaman, has been taking heat this whole game as the sack comes out onto him with Insane Dam. Probably looking to get swapped to by Genji as he does. He's going to be in a lot of trouble. He has the Divine Shield available to him. The Maldek's channeled out. Looking to try and get across the map here on his Divine Steed. Still holding on to that Divine Shield. A really nice play. Oh, with a really well, what's it called? Kick protection option to get that nice Holy Light to top his health bar off really well. As they look to get a swap on a BrokeXO possibly here.
Yeah, I really like the way that they're abusing this Mistweaver for pushing in full clone over under Brook. It's Your Boy and Plumber Josh in a lot of trouble here. Holy Paladins have a really hard time of topping their team when everybody gets really low without melee wings. So until he gets his melee wings, they could just cleave this team down and full fear over onto Insane Dam. He does not end up getting tremor here.
Taurus.
Unfortunate.
The darkness will keep him okay, but he's not even opting to stay in it. He's looking to keep the counter pressure aggressive here as he's sitting in D stance now with BrokeXO. Still no trinket. He's sitting in the full clone. He jumped back up into line of sight though, but he wants to get this kill onto Plumber Josh, who's just at a health bar that's been stretching like an elastic band lately.
Really scary. I'm really impressed by this Chaos Cleave, the way that they're just cleaving down this team right now. Double stun on It's Your Boy and Plumber Josh. Looking really scary. Lightning Lasso over onto Genji. Genji could be taking a lot of pressure here. He does still have the Nether Walk. Full Hodge over onto Brook. Doesn't end up having that swap available. Sharpened by Taurus over onto this Plumber Josh. There's the melee wings. He's able to top his team for the time being. Plumber Josh is still a lot of trouble though. Full hex over onto Brook.
The Maldek's coming in, and they're able to take that away. I can't help but think my melee wings is going to be able to keep that. I'm not sure what went wrong.
It was Sharpen. I was not expecting Sharpen to actually. He had melee wings up. He had a lot of healing into him, and he died through just because he had Sharpen on the Shaman. That was very, very unfortunate. Wow.
Yeah. Wow. Really impressive plays there. And Plumber Josh just taking grief that whole game. Really nice work from Taurus to be able to shut down the Elemental Shaman that whole game. And as much as they were able to get a really nice swap onto Genji, I can't help but think I would have liked to have seen them stay on Taurus now, who was a prime target now with his healer, without Cocoon, without a trinket, still on 2 minutes, and no die by the sword. He just heroic leaped out of sight. This guy's got nothing left. This is a prime opportunity to be able to get some of that damage rolling on him.
I'm definitely. I don't know if they were able to see that the monk wasn't Way of the Crane, but when the monk is not Way of the Crane, you can really abuse those root beams a lot. Press it on cooldown, it's guaranteed getting something, right? And then if the Demon Hunter does end up reflecting, you just pretty much get reflect for free, so that the Hodges don't end up getting reflected. So it's a really great trade-off just to almost press it on cooldown, just because it's, even if you don't have setup, because it's great to get cooldowns for free, right? It's a very scary thing when that happens, but also there at the end, that was a very unfortunate mishap where the Shaman just ended up going down to Sharpen. Like Sharpen's on such a short cooldown. I think this current patch they lowered the cooldown or something on it and made it so it's a lot more like impactful on a game. So like just pressing Sharpen can just get a kill like that. That's power of MS, I guess.
Yeah, you know, and it's such a it doesn't really last that long, so it's kind of it's actually I really enjoy seeing it placed in that such a way that you know it's a great answer to melee wings because you know when he throws that judgment, if you're reducing the amount of healing that you're getting from that judgment, oh man, now all of a sudden you're gonna have to stop meleeing to just get some holy shocks offensive or defensively, yeah, when you're trying to get them offensively to heal your whole team. So, you know, really well done to be able to place that Charmin exactly where it needed to be.
Yeah, it was very well placed Sharpen there. I like the way that they're playing it too. The way that the DH and the Warrior are kind of playing it is they're playing it a little bit how Sub Arcane used to play actually, where it was they would the Arcane Mage would get a target to like half HP, and then the Sub would just come in and kill it. It's kind of the same thing. You're like the Demon Hunter's doing enough damage to get these guys nice and low, and then if let's say the Warrior's kind of like rooted up or like kind of having to go distance, right? Then he has that opportunity to just come in with Sharpen, their half HP, and just kill them. Like it's a fun kind of play style to have, and it's working very well for them.
Absolutely. And so far now we are taking us over to our next match, which we will be seeing the predetermined winners again up against Monkey Brain, who we've also seen as well a few times in these matchups, coming out with their Windwalker Ellie, something not too different than what these guys Genji and Taurus just got done dealing with, but let's see how this goes as we just get started on this first match in the Grand Arena.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna say that they're probably just gonna run in and get on this Ellie immediately. That's my guesses.
Yeah, they just got done shutting down an Ellie for a good solid game and a half. Let's keep it up.
Oh, wow, it looks like a early incap and double sweep over there to kind of stop that early aggression. The Astral Shift already traded out about Lava Lash. Incap over onto this Druid. Looks like Genji's going to take a little bit of damage here. Lava Lash ends up getting kicked. Can't quite run there. Crybaby is going to have a lot of cleave damage if he can hit both these melees at the same time with his images. Looks like Innervate out of the Druid here. Ironheart falls. Thorns as well. They switch over to Crybaby, who doesn't have Thorns on him, so they don't take too much damage. Die by the sword by Taurus. Genji and Taurus taking a lot of damage here. They're in a lot of trouble. Maybe Netherwalk by Genji here. If any CC lands on this Mistweaver, full bash on this Mistweaver, Enderclone trinkets it. Very scary for this team. Full lightning lasso and disarm by the monk onto the warrior. I think that's what it is.
Maybe you see the tranquility being popped out by Melky Jammy here as he leaps back in to go for some CC, but it manages to catch that cage here as Broke XO pops that Way of the Crane to top Taurus up as he's still teetering a little around 50%. And the Sharpen coming out onto Lava Lash with a double Chaos Nova, and CC also onto Melky Jammy as he trinkets out of that with the Maldix channeling in, getting kicked on the heel. Lava Lash in so much pressure as he's able to be taken down with nice CC on a Melky Jammy. Stop those heals, the Maledix securing that kill in the constant dam that we've seen Genji and Taurus be able to push out very consistently.
That was very good. They did a very good job of. They got the Astral Shift very early on the Shaman. They looked away. They went to the Windwalker a little bit. They had to trade out some of their stuff. And then they just went back to the Shaman and just ended up killing him without wall. There was about 10 seconds left on that wall, and they were able to kill him in that window of it not being up, and ended up going down there.
Yeah, so we definitely see, you know, if you're playing into Genji and Taurus, you are not going to want to be a blue bar lately. So I'll be interested to see if we have any composition changes or what we decide to do. But, you know, kind of going into a different map option, I was interested to see that some of the spread pressure was on the side of Monkey Brain this time, as opposed to the predetermined winners, as you know, the Blade's Edge kind of picked the last game, almost ended up kind of backfiring in that regard.
Yeah, definitely. That's the power of the Windwalker. When there's two melee in his face, he can images and his fists are going to do a lot of cleave damage, definitely. And the thorns also as well out of the Druid were very great, like deterrent. and they still kind of hit into it, but they eventually realized, okay, these thorns kind of hurt. We should probably stop hitting this target, and they ended up switching over. So it was is great cleave. Like they can take a lot of damage, and if they can time CC when these two melee are taking a lot of damage, maybe they could land a kill.
Absolutely. So we see Tolvaron Arena being opted to be selected by the Monkey Brain. And we will take you over into that game 2 here as we see both teams preparing to go head to head in the Tolvaron Arena.
Tolvaron, this is a very big map. I almost want to see maybe like a Ring of Peace choice out of this Windwalker. Maybe for his Shaman, maybe he uses Ring of Peace on stuns and stuff, and it can kind of stop a lot of that like stun damage where the Shaman can't necessarily get away, and maybe they can save his wall for a later point in the game when he actually needs it pulled in. Looks like they're just running in right now. Looking at that blue bar, they like it. It looks like a yummy blueberry. They're already on him. He's kind of getting away right now. Ooh, double stun on both of them. This is really unfortunate for them. Looks like Sharpen early double stun on Genji and this Taurus, and then Incap stun on the Mistweaver here. They're getting some pressure. Incap onto the Druid. Thorns traded out. Fear on the Crybaby ends up getting broken. Lava Lash a lot of damage here. Ends up getting Iron Barked. Images from Crybaby. Stun over onto the Druid. Ends up trinketing. Lava Lash in a lot of trouble here. Iron Bark is about to fall. Taurus gets disarmed, does not have trinket, so he has to set that full disarm.
The Maldek's coming in from Baroque XO as Lava Lash still teetering, running away, and Wolfwood gets Stormbolt almost dead, decides to trinket that Stormbolt to try and save himself in a last-ditch effort as more Maldeks are probably coming, but Crybaby also taking a huge amount of damage. Melky Jammy, like, just looking for hots to go up. He really needs some hots as the Touch of Karma is traded out by Crybaby X to try and keep himself okay so he can just heal Lava Lash, but it's faded now, and he's still taking so much damage. We see a nice...
Wow. Very good clone on Taurus and Hex on a Brook. Another one gets traded out by Genji there. Very good cooldown management. Brook ends up getting stunned here as well and disarm on Taurus. Brook ends up treating. Genji could be a kill target right here. This could be an opportunity for them that they've needed. Taurus gets disarmed there as well. Genji's in a little bit of trouble. Sharpen over onto this Windwalker. Windwalker could go down here, and they're taking on a cleave here. So does the Druid take damage. Bark and Skin traded. Oh, this is so scary. Milky's in a lot of trouble here, and then just goes down. He just ends up dying. The cleave is too much. Oh, wow. And that was craned as well by the monk there to help finish the kill. Wow.
Yeah. It almost had a great counter attack there. But, the Demon Hunter, he's got so many defenses. There's so many things that you're going to have to go through there to get that pressure. I almost think Taurus is a better option still. I can't help but think that, like, I think, if you can get through the Die by the Sword, you can get out the Trinket in Cocoon to where you're creating yourself enough windows to where you can get a little bit more pressure, or at least takes Taurus out of the game, where now you're just having to handle Genji trailing you and training your Shaman, as opposed to both of them,
Yeah,
Put him in defensive stance.
I liked the way that they were double CC and getting good cross CC. The Surgery Windwalker team, they were doing a very good job of getting double CC with the disarms and the pairs and the cap stuns. It's just they're at the end. He ended up just getting. They both were CC. It was disarm and then CC on the Mistweaver, and then he just traded out of his Netherwalk. And he was like, okay, don't end up like trading something out of the Mistweaver, right? So they just were. It was good CD management, and it was. And if they overlapped there, maybe they could end up getting a kill on the Demon Hunter, but it's really hard to it's like pulling teeth. You have to get through so many things before you can actually get your piece of your cookie at the end of the tunnel. It's a lot. It's a long list of things you have to go through before you can actually kill that target.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And it's just what Demon Hunter is such an interesting class right now. They've given it so much in the way of mobility, in the way of offensive, to be able to dispel or not dispel, purge, and also a whole slew of different defensives. It's such a unique toolkit, and it's really fun watching good demon hunters like Genji who are able to use that toolkit to its fullest potential, and we see that as such a spine and backbone of this comp and this team that we've seen through it week in week out right now so far. Just take a really commanding lead, not dropping a single series in any of these tournaments. So right now we're looking at continuing into the Super Tadpoles up against the Mop Dream Reformed. Um, and we're also going to be looking at taking us soon into a grand final where we will take just the top two teams from the night to find out who will be our King of the Hollow this week. Again, this is week number 5. We'll be looking to do one more week of Kings of the Hollow before we will be announcing soon a final tournament for the top teams of all of season 2 to go together into a final showdown for season 2. Hopefully, um, we are currently assembling a, hopefully as much as we can, crowd-funded prize pool. But should you decide you want to be a part of this prize pool and maybe sponsor it in some way, I will be looking at personally hopefully matching some donations if you guys would be so kind. We want to be able to try to provide some kind of reward for some of these players who have been spending so much time participating in these events and doing really good showing to come out and display what they've got, display what they've been working on, or maybe just take a break from queuing ladder for a little bit. Um, but we will, I think, at least be providing the winners Resurgent team jerseys. So if you are one of the top teams, hopefully we will see you next week to be able to secure your spot in the final tournament that should be the first week of March. So, all right. Well, with that, we will be getting into this game here, uh, up against the Mop Dream and what did I say earlier? Now I gotta go look. Coach, you gotta back me up, buddy.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I was teams. For some reason, my chat actually doesn't. When I go into the thing, it doesn't actually pull up my chat.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. So I know we have the Mop Dream Reformed. And yeah, and the Super Tadpoles. That's right. There we go. Hey.
Oh yeah, the Super Tadpoles are back. They're bringing their.
Did you say stupid tadpoles?
No, the Super Tadpoles. I didn't know. I said super. I didn't say stupid. I 100% did not say stupid. They're okay. I was like, I hope I didn't say stupid. They're not stupid. They're bringing Mage Ellie. I really like this comp. I like seeing it played.
Yeah, so unfortunately there are no water maps, as so many of these frogs and amphibians have not been able to take full advantage of their true form. But we do see Insane Dam coming out again with bringing that Holy Paladin, and I can't help but say we were looking for a little more from the Holy Paladin play last time, as he just gets put into this full polymorph here. Plumber Josh, who is no stranger to being trained, ducks around the pillar here as he's able to kind of secure some of this incoming damage as the Lightning Lasso gets onto page 2. Chaos Bolt's coming out onto the grounding totem. Really nice, nicely done there on Raiden to kind of stop some of that incoming damage.
Yeah, definitely those grounding totems are super annoying when you start casting G-Pies and damage. Ooh, Cheebreaker gets attention here though. Full Hodge onto him. CS by Uncle 20 gets CS there. Very good nullifying the damage. Full ring on Insane Dam. Poly under Plumber Josh. Looks like Cheebreaker is going to live here. They're going to turn their attention over for some damage on a Plumber Josh. Melee Wings out of Insane Dam. Combust go onto Plumber Josh. Astral Shift traded out. Divine Favor into the Poly. Hopefully he ends up stealing it. It doesn't end up looking like he takes enough damage for him to have to use it. Plumber Josh is going to recover. There's a lot of cooldowns traded, but they did get some very good offensive pressure there.
So we see page 2 coming out with a strong Fire Mage here to be able to kind of bring out some really strong burn-in damage as him and Raiden look to try to get some damage on Plumber Josh. Once again, is Raiden coming out with that Stormkeeper with this Lightning Lasso on Plumber Josh here. The nice, beautiful CS onto Insane Dam. That's going to be a 5-second lockout or 6-second lockout that he's not going to be able to cast. But Plumber Josh able to kind of negate and just skirt around some of that damage here. We'll be looking to see how this unfolds here as Page 2 sitting full defensives right and still with that Astral Shift. Plumber Josh still not much left but his trinket here as Page 2 is getting caught into the wave of pressure here with the cocoon being traded out. Should keep him okay with the lock CS coming out, locking down his schools.
Yeah, it's very scary. Ends up getting the monk bubble there for free. Essentially, that was their Dark Soul Infernal go though, so it is a little bit understandable. Insane Dam gets full poly here. Plumber Josh in a lot of trouble. Insane Dam opts not to trinket this. Might end up trading the half. Just sits the full polys. Very good discipline there. Plumber Josh does have Astral Shift coming back up for this combust. It lines up pretty well. Time it very well. Plumber Josh is still in a lot of trouble here. Any more micro CC on Insane Dam, and they might be able to kill. Double coil on Horizon in Page 2. Looks like they're going to get a lightning lasso over onto this mage. Full fear on a chi breaker. Doesn't get tremor. Looks like he's going to sit the full fear. Very unfortunate there. Temp a little bit on the Page 2 and then blocks. Chi breaker ends up trinketing even though the block was traded. Looks like they're going to recover here. Looks like this team is in a little bit of trouble. Super Tadpole is taking a lot of pressure here. Half fear on a Chi Breaker. Reflect from Uncle Tony might end up getting a bolt for free here. They're looking at Chi Breaker here. He ends up porting back. He should be okay. He resets his port there. Very good job. Maybe they can get a CC going here. It looks like Hex and Poly onto this lock and the Shaman here. Hex lands DB on both. Maybe into Poly on Insane Dam. Ends up getting CS by his pet. Combusco here on the Plumber Josh. Astral Shift traded out. Triple leg sweep. Very well done there. Anything else on Insane Dam here might be enough to get a nice cooldown here. Full fear onto Chi Breaker. Doesn't end up getting trembled again. Half poly onto Uncle Tony. Full hodge on Chi Breaker here. They might end up looking at Chi Breaker. Lightning Lasso on a Page 2. There looks like Melee Wings to help with damage on a Page 2 here. He might have to temp. Ends up taking a lot of damage. DB on both, CS on Uncle Tony, no poly yet onto Insane Dam, Hex onto Plumber Josh. Page 2 ends up getting Cocoon. Looks like he's going to live here. This is going to be Dark Soul go by this lock, so it's very scary. Hopefully they can line full poly onto the Holy Paladin. Oh man, this could be some nice little turnaround right here, but Lightning Lasso on the Plumber Josh, this could be good. They might be able to get Trinket. Meteor go here as well. DB out of the poly, full fear on the Chi Breaker. He's having a bit of a bad day with these fears, but it's okay. They're getting some pressure here.
Now I'd love to see a swap onto Insane Dam as he's kind of cutting across the map as he's able to get caught out in the complete open here. It could be a really nice trade. No melee wings available to him anymore. Get a nice Divine Shield, but Page 2 taking a huge amount of damage, proccing that combustion, or sorry, cauterize, and the temporal shield pushing him up past that to keep him okay with Chi Breaker not having to spend throw out everything in move heaven and earth to keep him up, but still getting locked out by that lock. They're going to be wanting to play it safe as Page 2 has got nothing left. With the ice block down, no cauterized left. As soon as he is reduced to killable health, he will fall.
Well, that's a very nice poly there into Combusco, and the Plumber Josh gets the Astral Shift traded out again. Chi Breaker in a lot of trouble here. Ends up monk bubbling those Chaos Bolts. Very good Cocoon by him. Ends up getting kicked at the end of it too, but he'll be okay there, it looks like. Page 2 gets Lightning Lassoed again. Looks like it got sheared by Wrighton there. Coil on Wrighton. Poly on Uncle Tony. This is looking like they might be able to just like nullify this damage and maybe reset and wait for the next combust. Half fear on a Chi Breaker. Page 2 ends up getting sheared. Oh, this is looking very, very good for this Ellie mage right here if they can just live.
Absolutely. We see Page 2 now taking a bit of that damage. He does get his trinket back, but he's locked out on... He gets that lightning lasso where Chaos Bolt's also being channeled here. Still not taking a lot of damage. As a Prismatic Cloak probably able to give him a little bit of protection against that Chaos Bolt. And this is going to be danger for another 45 seconds until Page 2 can get his ice block back, as he is sitting on a wall with no defensives here. Really vulnerable target. Let's see if Mob Dream is going to be able to take advantage of this.
Yeah, definitely. I want to see a little bit more defensive play maybe out of this mage and this Ellie. They just kind of hold back, wait for the right opportunity, then like kind of pull the trigger, versus playing in the face of this this Destro team. Very scary when those bolts started flying. Very, very scary.
Yeah, Chi Breaker coming out now, popping that Manatee, being able to provide a little bit of life support here to Page 2 and Wrighton, as they are, just like you said, keeping a nice defensive play around the pillar here, still dealing with some of these Warlock spooky spells coming out from the side, as Chaos Bolt's now coming even spookier, as Chi Breaker is able to take the front of that, and Wrighton also taking a little fair amount of damage himself, but Page 2 has that ice block back, so he will be okay. But Plumber Josh sitting in the middle of the field, taking a fair amount of damage, looking to channel some Healing Surge. Wind Sheared on the Healing Surge. He's might be catching some Maledicts here in the face, but fiercely being locked and channeled onto Wrighton. He might be okay here, as Insane Damn is just about to get out of his polymorph.
Definitely, there's going to be a lot of scary bolts coming out here soon. I do not know how much longer Dampening can stack up.
And Page 2 is going to go down without blocking.
Oh,
that's unfortunate.
Unlucky. Just that the damage just comes out of nowhere.
Those Chaos Bolts are going to make such a big difference, you know, and it's going to be very important to make sure that you're landing your kicks on that, or making sure that you're getting behind line of sight there. You know, it's also important now that you got your cooldowns back. That's great, but you know they're only as good as you use them.
So maybe as a future talent choice, me personally being a fire mage, I like to run Prismatic Blink. So what you do is whenever you know you're gonna get bolted for free, you just
Prismatic
make sure you
Cloak.
Yeah, like when you blink, you take 50% less damage from magical effects. So you pretty much, after you shimmer, you take 50% less damage from the bolt, right? So you can actually blink the bolts and kind of bait him to like bolt you, like, hey, I'm here, I'm a target, but then really you're just walling every bolt. So it's like you only hit for like 30 to 40k with Dark Soul up, so it's like you can kind of, even though 40k is a lot, but it's in a way a bait because you stop a lot of damage.
Yeah, really absolutely.
Nice. It's nice. You give up, like honestly, in that specific matchup, you can probably just give up Temp, because Temp isn't actually like,
right.
By the time you need to Temp, you already have taken the damage, so you can like use that. You can run Prismatic Cloak versus running Temp, and you pretty much every time you blink, you just stop bolt damage. It's really, really helpful.
Absolutely, yeah, and definitely a great talent choice there to kind of swap to. Take advantage of some of that healing, you know, because that's a really good point. By the time you're looking to try to take some of that, soak up some of that damage to get the most effectiveness out of your temporal shield, you have already taken the damage. So unless you can pre-temporal shield some of these chaos bolts, you're not really getting any effect out of that temporal shield. So Prismatic Cloak definitely going to give you a little bit more reactionary defensive, rather than having to make it something that's strictly a proactive defensive. So yeah, really interesting how you know, just a simple trade like that could give you free you up a lot in terms of what kind of playstyle you can have.
Oh, definitely. With Prismatic talent, you can run at the healer a lot more. You can be a little bit more aggressive, because I was seeing that mage, he really enjoyed being aggressive in their face. And if you like that playstyle on fire, well, that talent choice is your best friend. Just lets you kind of stay in his face. It's like, yeah, you want to bolt me, dude? All right, cool. I'm just gonna blink your bolt, and it's like, oh man, where'd all my damage go? You know, so it definitely a nice talent to take in certain situations like Destrolox. Now that they're starting to crawl back up onto the ladder and make everybody's day great.
Absolutely. So we see the so that was the Super Tadpoles that were able to take that first match, correct? Wait, sorry, the Mop Dream Reformed who were able to take that first match there.
Yeah, I like how they bring the Boomkin and they bring the Warlock.
Exactly, and here we are as Runes of Lordaeron. This could be a fitting final resting place, as our good friends over at Blizzard would say, as the Super Tadpoles look to try to claim Game 2 and bring this to a Game 3, possibly getting them a chance to go into the Grand Finals here that we will be going to very soon to find out who will be this week's King of the Hollow.
Yeah, definitely. It looks like they're going to Lightning Lasso this Windwalker, get a little bit of early pressure here, double coil on both these guys, into full Hodge on a Chi Breaker. And Karma ends up getting traded out here. This is really scary. Ends up bopping off the Karma so they can keep hitting. Kyle gets the Mistweaver Cocoon for free. Leg sweep over an Insane Dam. They're looking at Plumber Josh here with this touch of death and these images and Void Form out of this Priest. And My Name is Kyle in a lot of trouble still. No Trinket. Full CS on the Chi Breaker. Into the Shadow for you on My Name is Kyle. He's going to end up getting away here and recovering a little bit, but that was a lot of cooldowns for free almost right there.
Absolutely, a really good play to bop off that Karmazay, looking to swap some of that damage into the Shadow Priest, who trinkets out of that Lightning Lasso, um, as he's still got plenty of defensives available. As My Name is Kyle still sitting as a very vulnerable target here, as Uncle Tony, that the great uncle who will buy you beer, but will also pump Chaos Bolts into you if you're not careful. Vivify is being channeled here with My Name is Kyle to keep himself tied up and kept in a health bar range that's going to be safe and healthy for him, as Chi Breaker is going to be catching a lot of the CC without any trinkets.
Yeah, definitely. That was Dark Soul out of Uncle Tony right there. So they're kind of feeling like they want to go aggressive here. Super Tadpoles do. Looks like they're going to turn their attention to Plumber Josh. He might have to trade out the Astral Shift. Looks like the Divine Ore Mastery heal ends up coming out of Insane Dam. Full Fear on a Chi Breaker. Lightning last one on My Name is Kyle. Kyle's in a lot of trouble here. His Karma's not up for 5 seconds. He could end up dying. She-Breaker gets into full Hodge. My Name is Kyle in a lot of trouble. Maybe the life swap traded out by the Shadow Priest right here. Ends up trading out his wall thing. Coil on both of them. Maybe he gets swapped, but then just dies.
There's still Karma. There's still Dampen Harmon life swap. Oh, you hate to see it, but My Name is Kyle goes down with so much in the tank.
Wow, that was a very good chain CC out of the Mop Dream team there. They were doing a very good job at just chaining their CC together, making it so that he couldn't actually get the Windwalker top. And then eventually just the constant just immolate damage, the random Chaos Bolts, and the elemental damage just eventually took out that Windwalker.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, really well played by the Mop Dream there. Incredible job to be able to keep that damage pressure, keep that consistent. You know, I think I didn't been able to see that Warlock get as that many Chaos Bolts, sequential Chaos Bolts, um, than any other map than right there.
Yeah, that was a great map for that lock. He was having a blast. There is
Absolutely.
no range kick other than silence from the priest, and technically his stun. Like it's the only thing that can actually stop a Chaos Bolt from their team is an actual CC that they don't necessarily want to throw at a lock anyway, right?
Right.
So he's just having a blast. He's just sitting back. He's grabbing a beer and he's just bolting. Oh, take my bolt, take my coil. He's just fearing, having fun. No trimmers on the team, getting free fears, just having a blast. So I'd love to be in that Warlock shoes. He's having a fun time right now.
Absolutely. He's like, yo, look at my damage, man.
Yeah, he's like, I got another bolt. Wait, I got another one coming. Like, oh, just don't you worry, I got another one soon. So it's like definitely.
So with
It's
that,
very
we will be seeing the happy Warlocks of Mob Dream Reformed going up against the Monkey Brain here. As man, you know what I think of when I think of Monkey Brain? I think of this awesome, like, you like sushi?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Sushi.
yeah, okay, good. I do too. So like, the we used to go to the sushi place that had this roll called the Monkey Brain, and it was like this giant mushroom with like cream cheese and crab, and like, and it was deep fried, and it was actually incredible. Like it was delicious, and they had a great deal on it as well. And so I'm just like, I hear about this Monkey Brain, and I'm like, oh man, I could go for some Monkey Brain rolls right now.
Sounds so good. I love mushrooms. Like
All
just
right.
like all sorts of them.
Absolutely.
So looks like this could be interesting for this team.
Yeah, so we see the Monkey Brain coming out with Lava Lash and Crybaby again, and Uncle Tony still ready to crack one with the boys, crack a cold one. And by crack a cold one, we mean lots of Chaos Bolts, as Plumber Josh also no stranger to the pain train here. So we'll see how they respond here as the first game opens up, with Mob Dream Reformed looking to get um, a little offensive here, or excuse me, Monkey Brain looking to get a little offensive here.
Yeah, definitely. It looks like they're kind of pushing in right here. There are 2 Ellies in this game, so a lot of grounding totems, and there's a lot of more stops for the Chaos Bolts for Uncle Tony this time around. He's not going to have as much fun. looks like he's running that Ring of Peace, so he doesn't have that increased karma. Full stun over onto Milky Jumanji, and Crybaby in a lot of trouble here. Ends up getting Lightning Lassoed, Hex on a Plumber Josh, stomps that damage, Fear onto Milky, ends up getting Tremor. Insane Dam taking a little bit of dam here, and he ends up having to melee wings. Maybe he was just doing that for an offensive pressure going to Crybaby. I'm not quite too sure. Maybe just to get out of the way early. Any Holy Avengers there too. Ooh, looks like they're gonna look at Insane Dam here. Ends up getting Lightning Lasso and then trades out his mini wall there. Touch of Death traded as well. Maybe Insane Dam has to press another button. Divine Favor ends up getting heal there. Crybaby maybe taking a little bit of damage out of the Mount Dream team. Getting bolted there, not taking too much, not too scared. It's all full Hodge over onto Milky Jumanji. Ends up trinketing that. Hex over onto the Shaman. Half bash on Insane Dam. A little bit of a DR timer there. Uncle Tony gets NCAP. They're looking at this Paladin. They just want to run him down this game, it looks like.
Yeah, I think it's a really good decision. He's used so much. He's been so hyper aggressive. I'd really like to see them swapped in to get a nice kill, but Divine Favor is up, so he might have a little bit of protection here. Divine Shield also something that they need to go through as well in order to get some lucrative damage here, but the Milky Jammy caught out of form here with Chaos Bolts being channeled. Milky Jammy, he's already lost his trinket. The Bark Skin goes on himself as well. He's still got Iron Bark in the tank, but he's sitting in cat form right now. They want this. They want to get this bubble on Insane Dam, I guess.
Yeah, it looks like they might be able to get it here. Divines end up. Oh, it ended up getting stolen right there. It ended up getting purged by Lava Lash. Very good. Insane Dam ends up having to trade his trinket, or not trinket, his wall right there. Ends up getting kicked on the Lightning Lasso by one of the Plumber Josh or Uncle Tony. Very well played by those guys, saving their Holy Paladin's life right there. He ends up taking the easy way out and just running really far. Full Fear on a Crybaby. Ends up getting cleansed. Lava Lash gets hexed. Nice clone over on Insane Dam when he's low HP right there. NCAP on Uncle Tony. Milky Jammy, Jammy Jumanji ends up getting full Hodge right there. Very well done. Insane Dam ends up getting kicked. Can't end up bubbling. If he gets kicked like that, he could end up just going down for free almost, just because he can't bubble when you get kicked on Holy. That's the sad life of a Paladin.
Yeah.
Looks like a full leg sweep there on Insane Dam. He ends up saving that trinket very well done right there. Ends up having the melee wings. He should be able to top himself right here. Double coil over onto the Druid and the Windwalker. Looks like this Mob Dream team is going to be able to stabilize right here and trade a little bit more pressure on this enemy team. Crybaby might be in a little bit of trouble here if they can land anything onto this R-Druid.
Yeah, and I'd like to be able to see Mob Dream kind of stay in the open a little bit more here and allow Uncle Tony to channel some of these Chaos Bolts that have really been working out so well for them in the past. But yeah, Monkey Brain, if they're gonna stay around this pillar, they're gonna be sitting pretty. This is where they want to be. This is where they want to be fighting them. Is they're still able to train Insane Dam? Why don't you just sit out in the open, allow your Warlock to free cast on them?
Yeah, definitely. They also take more damage from when this Shaman ends up putting down Earthquakes. Bubble ends up getting traded out there, just the random damage on Insane Dam.
From the Maledics as well.
The Maledicts, yeah, those Maledicts are really hurtful. You don't have two dispels. You can't dispel both of them. You spell the one, then you end up getting Maledicted again. Gotta love the new meta.
Trinkets galore.
Yeah, they're amazing, but it looks like Lightning Lasso and Uncle Tony ends up shrinking that. Full Hodge on Milky Jam, and they might end up do a little. Looks like a lot of stuff just got. Lava Lash might be in trouble here. Insane ends up getting leg swept by the Windwalker. This Windwalker is just training this Paladin, making his day really bad. Oh, he ended up getting kicked right there. That's really bad. If Insane Dam ends up getting any sort of if he gets low from this Elemental Shaman and then this Windwalker can connect, they could just end up taking out this Holy Paladin. Crybaby get Lightning Lassoed right there and then having to run away really low. But our Druids are great healers when you're running because you can still get healed behind pillars with the dots sticking on you consistently, right? So, and he also has Karma, so he's not too scared. But it looks like they're just kind of turtling right now. This Mob Dream team.
Yeah, and as we kind of get closer to dampening, we can see that Insane Dam is getting closer to half mana, where Milky Jumanji is kind of sitting around maybe 3/4 mana. So this could be a possible win condition. But it looks like Insane Dam was actually able to catch a small drink right there to top himself all the way up full. So what could have been a win condition there now possibly reverted here, as Crybaby still taking a fair amount of damage, but all this damage now coming out with the Lightning Lasso onto Insane Dam, punishing that drink with the half DR sweep, get a little bit more pressure, but the small mini wall coming out, and then Warlock Gate being a very nice way to be able to mitigate some of this damage by just getting completely out of line of sight.
Definitely, there comes out the Infernals from Uncle Tony. They're looking to get aggressive right here. He's going to maybe get these big bolts going out here soon. Plumber Josh got full hex, Insane Dam ends up getting kicked right here. This is really scary. Coil is the peel. Touch of Death on Insane Dam. Does he end up popping off the Touch of Death? I don't know if he's on Forbearance or not. Melee Wings traded here.
Lava Lash goes down! They managed to get the kill off Lava Lash!
That was insane. They were like tunneling Insane Dam, and then Lava Lash just got domed. That was crazy. Man, that was the Infernal Bolts, I guess. Not even
Absolutely.
Dark Soul.
And you know, I can't help but think they're gonna have so much more success if they can just stay on the open. Allow Uncle Tony to do what he does best. Just channel Chaos Bolts. Like, you know, if you're gonna get trained, you know, at least get trained in the open so that you can get that counter pressure. But I think, you know, Uncle Tony was finally able to just play it right there to where he's now able to already just assume that, okay, this guy's gonna go around, I'm gonna have to set up this kill myself. So, you know,
That was well done. I honestly thought that him not like I would have expected maybe Dark Soul would be needed to kill the shaman there from full HP, but I guess just Infernals is enough. That's cool. So that was crazy. It was just instantly like just globaled him. That was 2 bolts and dead. Wow. Well done by the Mob Dream Team.
yeah, absolutely. So we'll see what map they be going for here next as we look. You know, so you know, what kind of maps are you looking at if you are if you're you know, Lava Lash? You know, because you know these elemental shamans have just been struggling today. So
I really want to see a Dallas Sewers maybe out of that team because I personally think that Ellie's are very strong onto it, and it's a very good, almost like a counter to Destralax because it's so easy to line bolts on Dallas Sewers, and it's like you can just kind of hold that on your pillar, right? So maybe that would be a good map for them. So I think Dallas Sewers is really good for them.
absolutely, and we do see them locking in Dalaran Sewers. It looks like you guys are on similar wavelengths here today. I think that's the first one that we've guessed right. So, you know, we can try, but, you know, it's up to them, really, what they decide to do. So, but as we do queue into Dalaran Sewers here, we want to thank everyone for tuning in. We are working our way through week number 5 of Season 2 for Kings of the Hollow. We will be doing one more week and then hosting a tournament for the top teams. Again, we are looking at matching donations for whatever we can get to build up a little bit of a prize pool. We'd like to be able to see support come out here so that we can garner a little bit more respect for WoW Esports and gain a little bit more reputation for the community as we start to be able to offer more and more incentivized prize pools for all these players who are deciding to come out and play, because it's definitely a time investment. So, but anyway, we are getting in to this match number 2 here in Dalaran Sewers.
Oh yeah, this is gonna be a lot. Like I think this Windmarker is gonna have a lot more freedom when it comes to hitting the targets that he wants, and if he does want to run out this Paladin, he's gonna be able to get more triple sweeps because it's such a small map.
Absolutely, we see the first bits of damage here, kind of Plumber Josh trying to take and sustain a little bit of it, as that's definitely a name that we are not we are, it feels like we're wearing it out. Plumber Josh. I'm gonna wake up in the morning and be like, I felt like I had a plumber yesterday and his name was Josh.
Definitely. Looks like he ended up getting lightning episode right there. Double coil on Crybaby and Lava Lash coming out. Full Hodge on a Milky Jumanji. Doesn't end up opting a trinket that. Looks like it's just going to end up being negated with shear from Lava Lash on Uncle Tony's damage. That is Melee Wings out of Insane Dam there. Lava Lash is going to take a lot of damage here from Insane Dam. Full clone on Insane Dam to get rid of his Melee Wings for the moment. And it looks like this Super Tadpoles is going to be able to kind of run away here and kind of live to see another day, which I really like. Ooh, double Shadow Fury. Very unlucky, but nothing's going to happen of it because it is Dalaran Sewers.
very easy to line these bolts.
Yeah, and I think we're starting to see that already as Uncle Tony is just kind of sitting there right where the waterfall would be, sitting in that wind shear again, looking to try to get a little bit of that as the Mortal Coil goes out to kind of cover Lava Lash from kind of ruining his day. But he's still looking for that line of sight as a lot of these casts become interrupted. Plumber Josh taking a fair amount of damage as well as he kind of retreats back to his own pillar with Insane Dam, who's now sitting in that Mighty Bash, but they might be able to get a swap onto Melky Jammy. As he's got a really aggressive positioning, but Plumber Josh taking so much damage, and Maldek's coming out. Sack coming, being traded by Insane Dam. He will be okay as a nice save, as I'm sure he should be playing Ultimate Sack.
He ended up cloning right there on his Sack, and now he ends up cloning Insane Dam as well. This is really bad. Triple Lightning Cap Stun Totem on all of Super Tadpoles. Looks like double coil as well on Milky. Fear onto Lava Lash. Ends up being broken or cleansed right there. Ooh, a pet stun on Insane Dam. Ends up trading wall there. He has his little divine heal he can press. Uncle Tony is cloned right now. Can't really peel with Fear, so this is really good. Full Lightning Lasso over onto Plumber Josh. It looks like the Mob Dream Team is taking a lot more damage this time around, and they're actually like scared in some of these scenarios.
Absolutely. And now I'd like to see again another swap onto Insane Dam. He's got nothing left in the tank, and especially with that melee wings coming up in 2 seconds, if he's not careful, he's right there. He's such an easy swap target. He's hamming it up right now. Sitting in that leg sweep, this could be a really good kill onto Insane Dam with nothing left.
Definitely Lava Lash taking a little bit of pressure here, though. Ends up getting kicked, can't grounding or stop any of those things coming at him, but it looks like Insane Dam ends up getting pet stunned again by this Primal Pet. Very annoying stun. It's a very short cooldown. Full Lightning Lasso on Uncle Tony. Insane Dam ends up getting kicked right here. Crybaby's touch it is off cooldown. He very well could just chunk it at Insane Dam right here and maybe end up getting his trinket for free if they have the next Lightning Lasso on Insane Dam covered with CC on Uncle Tony and Plumber Josh. But it looks like Crybaby's taking a little bit of damage right here. Is kind of scared. Infernals is coming off cooldown in 10 seconds, so he has to be very wary of that. Looks like the Mob Dream Team is stabilized and looking to turn the pressure over onto Super Tadpoles.
Yeah, Crybaby X just now coming off of that Fortifying Brew to kind of keep himself a little bit more tanky as he opts to kind of Serpent Kick all the way back over to his own pillar with Melky Jammy, who's sitting in a Hodge now. Crybaby X, Touch of Death being traded out, looking to hopefully swap onto this Paladin as melee wings come out and being traded. This would be a great clone right now on this Paladin to be able to stop some of this damage and easily secure this kill. But Lava Lash and Crybaby taking a fair amount of damage with the Lightning Lasso being channeled out onto Uncle Tony. That's quickly interrupted here on Lava Lash, who's also taking a fair amount of damage, trying to give himself a few healing surges, kind of help his healer out here as these hots, I'm sure, are going to start becoming less and less effective as we start to get into dampening here in the next few minutes.
Oh yeah, definitely. Milky Jammy ends up getting hodged right there. It has to trinket that. He's getting really low on mana. He ends up tranking here, but then it gets stopped. Very, very unlucky right there. He really needed that to stabilize his team. Lava Lash taking a lot of heat right here. He might end up getting Iron Barked. Milky Jammy's just so tapped on mana. No Innervate, no nothing. Lava Lash, Crybaby, they're all so low right here in comparison to the enemy team of Mob Dream Team. They're throwing out some hexes, trying to like stabilize, but you can't, there's nothing you can do whenever your druid's Uncle Tony doesn't have a trinket. Maybe they turn their attention to him. Insane Dam does still have his trinket, so it's not looking too good. Uncle Tony does Unneeding Resolve right there, ends up walling, just spamming damage. Crybaby in a lot of trouble right here. Might have to Karma. Ends up trading out his Karma. Lava Lash ends up walling as well. It doesn't look like Jammy maybe get away for a drink. It doesn't look like it. They're just getting rotted at this point.
Yeah, Melky Jammy is completely tapped. He's got no blue. There's absolutely nothing left in this bar. The double Mortal Coil coming out. Uncle Tony's just like, yeah, let me just finish this off right now and leave the kids with mom and dad and go home and call it a night. But Crybaby, Fortifying Brew, trying to give him everything he can to keep himself up. The Lightning Lasso being trinketed out of. Melky Jammy, absolutely nothing left. Where did the R-Druid's mana go? I don't know. Do you know?
It looks like it's been going away to these purges. This Plumber Josh is doing a good job at purging these hots off.
But Melky Jammy getting a cheeky drink right now.
That is really important. If he can get any sort of mana,
definitely bringing it back into this game.
that's a lot of mana. Ends up Iron Barking right there. Crybaby ends up touch of deathing onto this Paladin. The Paladin could be taking a lot of damage right here. Doesn't have bop for a couple seconds. Might end up just bopping off this touch. He has melee wings. He might have the trinkets. He ends up just bopping the bash and bopping the touch. Very well played by
It
the
gets
Paladin.
dispelled.
Ends up getting halves. Oh, he's gonna go down maybe. Ends up getting the Divine Favor. And then Lava Lash gets turned too and just dies. Maybe they get a cross kill here on Insane Dam. If Insane Dam can go down, they can win this.
Lava Lash died. It could be a cross kill.
Insane Dam is so low right now. It is.
Let me see the
11%
bash.
dampening. He might be able to get to him in time. Oh, it looks like he's gonna recover.
Yeah, that's gonna be unfortunate because they were so close to being able to land that kill on Insane Dam, and it could have left us with a 2v2 situation, but it is not going to be the case as Mop Dream Reformed will take match number 2 in this series.
Wow, what a game! That was great. That was like just. I really think that the Super Tadpoles had a lot more of a chance this game. I feel like the smaller map gave them more opportunities to kind of get their setups that they wanted. So I think that map was very helpful for them. It was just a little bit harder to execute whenever you have to deal with Ardruid mana. If
Yeah.
you're just constantly running and not really able to play. And also, sorry about that. So also whenever you clone on an Ardruid, you waste a lot of your mana as well. So like, even though they have a Druid on their team, they're not able to really offensive clone because it will just even quicker. So it's like,
Right.
sometimes they can't get what they want to get done. Right.
Definitely, there's a severe opportunity cost for that, and it's got to determine on where's that mana going to be best utilized. And so, but if you're confident that you can get that sneaky drink like that, where he was able to, kind of keep that prowl and sit in cat form and get a nice drink, he got himself a good solid 40, almost 50% of his mana bar back by doing that. So, if you can do that, then you can definitely be more confident that some of the utilization of some of that mana to keep rotating some cyclones here and get your team a little bit more pressure could be a really good use of some of that mana.
Yeah, definitely. Also, maybe as an Ardruid, notice that the game's going a little bit deeper into dampening than you would like, and maybe go for drinks a little bit earlier in the game, so you don't go for drinks like when you're already right?
Mhm.
I know that the Druid that I play with currently on ladder, he's very good about his early drinking. So he might be at 30% mana, but he already knows that mana is not going to last for very long with the current mana changes. So he needs to go for drinks a lot earlier in the game before he's boomed. So if he does end up getting stopped, he has the opportunity of getting stopped, going back, healing a little bit, and then getting his drink.
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah, and it's so good because you don't expect it then. It's a lot more rogue, so to speak. So with that, we see our next match going into Super Tadpoles versus the Monkey Brain here, as we go back again to the Grand Arena. So Monkey Brain again coming out with that Windwalker Shadow Priest here, and the Mop Dream Reformed Lava Lash and Crybaby X and Milky Jammy coming out with that Windwalker Ellie Shaman. Should be a good matchup here as we have seen some of the damage that the Monkey Brain is capable of and some of the delicious sushi roll that they are packing. And Mop Dream Reformed also still looking really solid. Should be an interesting matchup here. Cokes, who do you got?
I don't know. I think it could go either way. I think there being an Ardruid into a Shadow Priest is a little scary. So I'm gonna maybe go with those Super Tadpoles. Maybe I think they've got a good team, right? They can.
Let's see it. As we see Lava Lash coming in here, getting really aggressive out here onto Zelda. Stop some of the Shadow Priest damage here as he's still able to get out these vampiric touches, but Cheatbreaker being the first target opted to be swapped to, as we see his trinket and bubble, or excuse me, not bubble, but cocoon coming out here immediately, channeling those soothing mists, keep himself topped back up with a Maledic still coming out. Lava Lash catching some of that counter pressure, and My Name is Kyle also still catching some of the remainder of that pressure with lots of damage being traded out here in the early parts of this game.
Yeah, definitely. There was a lot going on right there. That was both touches already just chucked. They're just trying to get as much pressure as possible early in the game. Cheatbreaker is kind of tapped right now. The next go on a Cheatbreaker could be his life if they can get cross CC on his Zelda with no swap. It looks like that might be the case right here. Cheatbreaker in a lot of trouble. It does end up having that Ring of Peace. Zelda ends up getting incapped. Cheatbreaker is still a lot of trouble. Can't get that swap quite yet. Clone on his Zelda. Does he trinket swap here? I think Cheatbreaker might be okay.
No, Cheatbreaker catching the Maledict's Gladiator's Maledict's token. He's not heal. He's opting to heal through it, and there's Zelda with coming in with a life swap.
Wow. That was a very, very very greedy play right there. Lava Lash taking a lot of damage here too, though. My Name is Kyle does have the images out. Incap over on Milky Jumanji ends up shrinking there, ends up dispelling as well and getting Silence Fear. Cheatbreaker getting a little bit of damage here. Has the Monkakoon. Not going to be there for long. Does end up getting kicked. Zelda can't save him anymore. Did end up swapping that last go. Stun over on a Crybaby leg sweep. Lava Lash does have his Astral Shift coming back up soon. Can end up walling the next potential damage on him. My Name is Kyle. Getting low here as well. Looks like they're just kind of having a Windwalker battle in the middle. They're just fisting each other with the images.
Hey, don't say that on stream, man. Cheatbreaker taking a lot of damage here. She's so low. Another Ring of Peace coming out. He's teetering at like 5%. Sheared on his Soothing Mist. Feels so bad, man. The Mighty Bash coming out, just being ping-ponged around the map. And he will go down here, succumb to the damage from the Monkey Brain, as Crybaby X is able to put out lots of damage here to be able to secure that first win.
Yep, Cheatbreaker ends up going down there at the end.
And man, what an interesting game. So much damage coming out in the very first parts of that game. I was really impressed at like what about how they were able to even just go through and just it almost, they set up like they were gonna go on the Shadow Priest and just decided to go straight run at this Mistweaver. And like I just got done saying earlier at the beginning of when we first went live, these Mistweavers have been struggling a lot, at least in our tournaments, to be able to sustain themselves very well. As you know, we've kind of coined a term of, it's been a little bit of a year of the Mist Eaters, as people have just kind of been chewing through Mistweavers lately.
Yeah, Mistweavers are getting punished a lot in these Windwalker metas because they can put their board on the Mistweaver's board and just kind of get back there instantly whenever they end up boarding for like a peel, right?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
It's very scary. It's like been the one like bane for Mistweavers is if you're trying to get away from any melee, you've always had your port, your ring, and kind of like your great mobility as a healer. But whenever the other the person that's training you is your same class, has the same type of abilities, can still just run you down.
Right, exactly. They pop their transcendence right where you put your transcendence, and now all of a sudden your one get out of jail free card is like right back into the cuffs of a pair of handcuffs, you know. So
yeah,
it's kind of unfortunate, but I'd like to see something that these Mistweavers can use a little bit more to their advantage, like a Mukambala or even a Blade's Edge coming out again here.
Well, yeah, maybe Mugambala would be really good for them because there's kind of like a cheesy way to put your port. You can put your port in the room, and then you can actually port back to the room by being on the second floor, like of the map. So it's really kind of toxic when you're trying to kill a healer.
Absolutely. So we see Tolvaron being selected as the next map in this matchup. And the Super Tadpoles coming out with Page 2 again, bringing that Frost Mage this time. So swapping off from that Fire, looking to get a little bit of a different type of damage style here to maybe slow his team down, slow the enemy team down, and channel some Frostbolt damage here.
Definitely. The nice thing about bringing Frost into a Windwalker type game on this particular map is whenever he images and he does end up putting down blizzards, he gets his orb back a lot quicker because of the images on the floor, so he gets the orb a lot faster on versus Windwalkers.
True, absolutely. Yeah, and you can also route the images where they are so that they aren't able to connect to the target. Um, really great play that a lot of Frost mages will do to take advantage of some of that um, that rooting ability that they have. Is page 2 in the beginning connects some of the damage connected to him is a temporal shield. It's gonna do a nice job to top him up if it comes up in time, topping him off nice to full here, but he's still taking the brunt of a lot of this damage. With G-Breaker gonna really need to got his work cut out for him as he's dipping down low into 10% health. Does trade out that ice block though with the Mighty Bash being secured in the again full clone coming out of G-Breaker. Maybe a little timed offset would have been a little bit more advantageous.
Yeah, definitely. It looks like Page 2 ends up getting cloned out of his block. That's really unlucky. Cheeseburger does end up trinketing there as well. Page 2 is in a lot of trouble here, and Cheeseburger gets sheared. Maybe he uses his snap to get a shield up. He does. Page 2 might be able to recover right here. In-cap on Cheeseburger, and then Page 2 gets cloned again. This is so unlucky for him. Full clone over on the Cheeseburger. Page 2 looks like he's going to go down.
This
right
has
about
got to
here.
be a cold snap. This is a Thanos snap indeed. It is a Thanos snap, and that
Oh,
is
that's
unfortunate.
unlucky. Yeah. I did just notice that it is uh, enhancement this time around.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That
But
did catch.
a lot more cleave.
Yeah, it did catch the ever watchful eyes of us here as going in as Monkey Brain is able to take the series 2-0.
That was a lot of really early pressure. They were just in their face, really all up in their business, just kind of playing on top of them really, and didn't really give the Frost Mage very much room to get away, and that showed they were able to kill him very quickly.
Absolutely. And so let's see if we go in looking at our standings. We have our predetermined winners looking solid at the top with 7 wins and 0 losses. Mob Dream Reformed coming up next with 6 wins and 1 loss, followed by Monkey Brains with 5 wins and 2 losses. So going in there, we will hopefully be finding out who will be our grand finalist teams here. So if we do end up going in now, which I believe we will be, it looks like we'll be having a grand final rematch between the predetermined winners and Mob Dream Reformed, which I think should be a good match. Definitely a lot left on the table and a lot left to be desired from Mob Dream Reformed in the next another matchup here against the predetermined winners who have just looked incredibly flawless today on their Chaos Cleave.
Oh yeah, that warrior and that demon hunter just bullying these casters and all these like ranged type things. They're just in there. I think the almost the play that could prevent them from playing like that is playing more of like don't let them do that and you play on their face type thing and prevent them from getting the edge early.
Yeah, they have definitely taken the blue bar's lunch money, and they're definitely not getting it back anytime soon. But who knows? This could be the chance for them to redeem themselves here as the revenge of the nerds. So we'll see. That sounded like a good joke, but it really wasn't. I tried to go for something a little different, you know. Scuffed.
It's okay. We're all nerds at heart.
Ooh, and we do see something a little different coming out. I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
Let me get our names here so that we know what's going on. And
Cute. There's a rogue in the arena. Oh, all these games, there's been no rogues. I just want to see rogues. I love seeing them.
right.
All I play with. So.
Yeah. We do see the Dancing with the Stars coming out with Mob Dream Reformed, and this should be a really nice matchup here with such opener potential. But I gotta say, I feel like we're gonna be giving this to the predetermined winners unless I can't expect to see a kill on the opener on this. I mean, are you with me on that, Cokes?
I really think that if this Dancing with the Stars plays very well, they can win this game. I think if they can get a good opener right here, and maybe prevent Genji from getting this rogue out of stealth, knock off his eye and then maybe get an opener, like get an early cheaper stun onto this Brook.
Ooh, looks like it's not gonna happen though. Incap order Insane Dam. It's your boy taking a lot of damage in the opener here. Just taking what is going on now? That was okay. So sack went on cooldown, but he still died. I'm guessing he was running small sack, or maybe it bugged. Like, oh man, that was. They ran it down.
So talking about a lot to be desired, I think we saw It's Your Boy at 10% health in bear form before our rogue friend even opened. Um, so yeah,
They ran in and that was really quick. They just instantly in on the Boomkin. The nice thing about what they can do there is the Boomkin can actually go stealth too. So if the Paladin can maybe knock off the eye, the Boomkin can maybe get a bit of better of an opener even. Maybe in the next game, maybe they all start or both of them start in stealth and maybe get a nice clean opener, and that can be prevented hopefully.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. It looks like we probably will be expecting to see some comp swaps here. You know, but you know it's going to be tough. You know, it's really up to your rogue there at that point. I would say, Cokes too. You need a shadow step and you need to stop that spectral sight because as Dancing with the Stars, you should be getting the opener. If losing the opener as Dancing with the Stars is just, it's very unfortunate. That is a bad game. It's got bad news written all over it.
Yeah, and the big thing there in the opener is it is a lot about the opener, and it's also about taking advantage of them playing so aggressive. So actually, the monk is still in his mount when the demon hunter is actually getting in combat, right? So the monk's not in combat yet, so you could actually intentionally know that you're going to get open on, and you can actually step to the demon hunter and sap the monk before he gets you out of combat type thing. So they're all so close, and maybe they can work something off of that step to the DH, know he's going to knock you out, just get the sap on the monk real quick, open on the DH with Mark for Death Kidney, maybe root beam out of that, and then maybe into a blind, and then you can have a really good go on the demon hunter, potentially get his trinket or his nether one, and it can change the course of the game.
Yeah, so we see Mob Dream opting to go with Tolvaron Arena as a second option and a little bit of a comp swap, looking back to some familiar faces that we see, some familiar characters in this fight, some friends of ours, some family friends, as we see Uncle Tony and Plumber Josh, the dynamic duo, I guess, coming back into the playing field here to try and secure a win up against these guys who have just been running train over all these teams that we have matched them up with. Who can do it? Who can beat the predetermined winners? Who in chat here can give these guys a run for their money? I'd like to see what we can come up with next week. Surely we have someone who out there who's looking to at least give these guys a little bit more competition. But with that, we shall go into this Tolvaron Arena match. Who do we got?
Like we got the Ellie Destro H-Pal against the Chaos Cleave, and they are just running in. They all are just all in their mounts, all in there, full fear on Insane Dam. He's not getting trimmered quite yet. Uncle Tony looks like the big kill target right here. Ends up trading off the Uneating Resolve. Sharpened early over on Uncle Tony. Maybe end up having a trinket sack right here out of Insane Dam. Ends up doing it. Love didn't necessarily have to trade too much from their go there. It looks like melee wings out of Insane Dam. Taurus and Genji taking a lot of damage. Triple fear ends up getting trimmered. Very well done out of Plumber Josh there. Looks like Insane Dam has all of his cooldowns gone pretty quick, and it's just the start of the game.
Yeah, absolutely. And we can see that Insane Dam also still playing very aggressive here. Already used that melee wings. He's going to need to be sure that these cooldowns don't get away from him too fast, as the Demon Hunter will be able to purge off his Blessing of Protection that he has been able to utilize prior before here, as he's just now using it onto Uncle Tony, who may be able to get some free Chaos Bolt action out from that, as Genji's able to take the first one of those.
Yeah, definitely. Love ended up getting feared here full. This could be a cooldown on Taurus. Might have to die by the sword. He ends up kicking that cast from Uncle Tony, not having to press die by the sword. Ends up getting topped by the power word Radiance by Love. And Love ends up getting half feared right there. So as PS Dome, Grip has all of his cooldowns available. At the same time, took a little bit of CC there. Genji into the full Hex. this is very good to kind of gap the go from this this warrior demon hunter. Full fear on Insane Dam ends up getting trimmered very well. Uncle Tony in a lot of trouble here though. Full stun on Insane Dam ends up bubbling, and Uncle Tony here in a lot of trouble. And might end up going down if out of this bubble they can land any CC. Love ends up getting kicked on his penance and ends up shadow mending. This is looking really scary for
Yeah,
this.
and just as a
Dream
note
team.
of positioning here, like as opposed to bubbling, I'd like to be able to see the utilization of this Warlock gate where the Paladin can play closer to the other end of the gate, and as opposed to being trading on a Divine Shield, is Uncle Tony's taking so much damage, they could just oh, and he does go down there with just straight damage. It's unfortunate, but I feel like the utilization of that Warlock gate could really be powerful going into this matchup where instead of having to trade out that Divine Shield, your Warlock can gate to you so that as you come out of that CC, he's now out of LOS and still, you're able to top him as a Holy Paladin from that.
Oh yeah, definitely. And it was really unlucky there, because there is multiple fears. There's the priest fear, there's the warrior fear. The previous fear ended up getting trimmered, and the fear that ended up taking Tony's life there was the one that we didn't have trimmer out for. So it was very just CC oriented, and there's just a lot of cooldowns are just being traded so quick. I almost like want to see maybe a way of preventing, like if there's any sort of thing in the kits of these guys to maybe stop all of this early like aggression from this team, because if like they're going in, they're just kind of popping all their swifty one-shot macros type thing, then maybe if they could like save as many cooldowns through their burst windows in the opener, they can actually live, because the priest was going pretty right through. He only had about like 20% of his mana, so
Absolutely.
if they can maybe just live, like just get to that like point in the game where it actually like do things like and not just like constantly be getting trained. So.
Yeah, I'd even like to see a swap up of talent choices from Insane Dam to maybe go a Repentance option to where you can get that Hodge into the Repentance, such a strong CC chain that you can land completely by yourself against a Disciplined Priest that could really give your team a lot of momentum to pull some of these defensives from their DPS and maybe force some more overlaps, test the integrity of these guys, the predetermined winners here, and you might be able to catch yourself a window where all of a sudden now, Tara's in trouble with no darkness and pain suppression.
Well, also, I would like to maybe see a swap to the Disc Priest. For me personally, playing with Disc Priest a lot, they can get swapped to in their comp. They're playing Destros, and Shaman. Like when they kind of gang up on a Shaman, they can actually kill him without ever kicking him. They just can kill him with their roots, their they're just micro things, and just one bolt when he doesn't have PS or barrier up, and he can just go down. Maybe kill the priest in this scenario. Be pretty good. Oh look.
And so we see Ashmane's Fall being selected as the next map here, and this could be the third and final win for the predetermined winners here as they go on to hopefully, for their sake, take another match in another King of the Hollow week to make them 3 weeks in a row. Let's see what can happen here. Can Mop Dream Reformed pull out what it takes as they swap over to a Boomkin Elemental Sham here to try and save the day? 8 seconds left until the arena doors open. This will possibly be the last and final game to determine who will be our Kings of the Hollow for week number 3 in Season 2. Will it be the predetermined winners, or will Mop Dream be able to take it to a game number 4? Here we go.
Really, it's like them immediately just onto this blue dude. They're just bullying him up. It's like Sharpen and a lot of blades are coming out of Taurus here. Taurus actually taking a lot of pressure right here from Mop Dream Team. Might end up having to trade out a cooldown. Ends up die by the sorting here. Stun over on Insane Dam on his melee wings. 11 ends up being root beamed there. Ends up trinketing Full Fear on It's Your Boy and Plumber Josh. It's Your Boy's kicked on Nature. Can't necessarily do much with his Incarn right now. Looks like they're trying to kill Taurus right here. He might actually be able to die in the next go because Left has no trinket.
Yeah, that Rapture coming out from Love, being able to pump out those Power Ward shields as he catches that full Cyclone here. Taurus now could be in a little bit of a vulnerable position, but it looks like he will be okay as Love is now out and available. Plumber Josh still taking too much damage to really get such a strong offensive go, but he does manage to connect that Stormkeeper here as Taurus channeling that Blade Storm. Love also still taking a fair amount of damage here as he's bouncing around the pillar of max range, almost max ranging on some heals.
Yeah, definitely. He's emceeing this Boomkin, running him around in circles, which is really not that nice. Not very nice, Love. Looks like they're going over to Insane Dam. He ends up having a bomb, ends up being purged instantly. Very good, quick purge right there. They are turning their attention back to the Shaman here now, though. Plumber Josh in a lot of trouble. Ends up he might have taking a lot more damage than he expects here. Fear on It's Your Boy can't clone defensively. Full Stormbolt on a Plumber Josh. Nothing to help him, and he ends up going down right there. Insane Dam did have Bubble and Trinket, but I don't even know if it would have saved him because Taurus does have his Sharpen back off right there. He just sharpened his heals. That was brutal.
It was, and there it is, another decisive win for the predetermined winners, which oddly enough was not predetermined, but yet they are still the winners and take the Kings of the Hollow week number 5, and they will definitely be securing themselves a spot to go up in the tournament to finish season 2. Once again, thank you everyone for watching. We really enjoyed being able to bring this to you again today. We hope that if you would like to participate, please come next Monday. It's really easy to talk crap in chat, especially when you aren't able to back it up. So let's say it. Come on out. Come back it up. We'd love to see you. I'd love to be able to see you kind of put your money where your mouth is as well. So, Twitch chat is easy, and but so is competing. So in that case, we'll see you again next week. And with that, Cokes, do you have any kind of shout outs or anything you'd like to
No, I just want to thank everybody for watching, and this was really fun to commentate, so I appreciate the opportunity. And I really like the teams that came out. I like the diversity in the teams, so people bringing those different type of comps, and maybe like it might not be in the meta. It's still fun to watch, and it's still great to see how you guys play them. So thank you for bringing those comps. That's all I got. Thank you. Fun to watch.
Absolutely. And also, as a last note, we are still in need of arena casters. If you are someone who's interested in maybe trying your hand at commentating in the World of Warcraft arena, please do reach out to us at our website or message us directly on Twitter. We would love to be able to give you a chance to maybe start a career in esports, or maybe see if this is something that you would be interested in. Again, please visit our website to find out more information. Go hit up our Twitter, direct message us. We'd love to talk to you about some of this stuff. We are looking for more people to be a part of the team, put together esports content, who are passionate about the community, and definitely want to see World of Warcraft be a stronger, more vibrant community than it is today. So thank you to all of you who support us. We need you. We rely on you guys. We do this because we love the community, and none of us get paid to do this. And it's quite a commitment from us. So thank you again so much for watching. And with that, we will be signing off. So you all have a great week, and we will see you next Monday for the Kings of the Hollow week number 6.